Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell,
Oh,
James Farley,
hello.
and returning is Matt Murray.
Hello there.
Before we get... Look, there's lots to talk about with Matt, but before we get there, we'd like to thank our Patreon producers this month. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Grey Dragon Claw, Smooth Monkey, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Sam Higton, Tom S, Stan, Philip with an F, Fred Fenge, Cena narrowly lost to David in the TCGS Con North Mario Kart Final 2023, John the Nelsmeister Nelson, and Ryan Cobain. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We really appreciate it. You can help the show live its best life by going to patreon.com/TCGS. Sign up to any of the tiers there, bonus shows, video watch-alongs, whatever. Or the Full Nels crew, which is the best of all of the crews, believe it or not, including Tom Cruise. What? Was that not? Okay. Matt, you're right, mate, because you got what happened?
Nothing. Just went snowboarding. Pretty uneventful. Oh no, sorry. There was one time where we tried to order pizza and it took like an hour. That was mental. That was probably about it.
You tried
Other
all
than
the pizza and it took
we tried to
about
order
an hour.
pizza and it took ages, and I was like, oh god, what a story this is going to be. And
mean?
that was it. That was kind of the only moment of the trip.
That's interesting. Okay, but you have smashed your arm into several pieces. That is something we
Yes,
referenced last week before knowing how serious it was.
Yeah,
So,
I may have snapped my wrist on day one of the snowboarding holiday,
Oh, it's the best day to do
which
it.
is the only way to
Just
do
get
it.
it out
I
of the
think.
way.
Yeah, get it in, get it done, move on.
It's like, do you
life.
remember when you went on like school trips or something, or scout camps or whatever, and there'll always be that one kid that spunks all his money in the first day. you just think for the rest of the break, you just think we're all having ice cream, mate, and if you didn't buy that BB gun, you'd be having ice cream too.
Yeah,
BB
but
gun
a
already
BB
broken.
BB gun will last a long time, though.
Yeah, James has bought his Arsenal day one.
Like, a BB gun will last a long time. Ice cream's over in a few seconds, you know. It's like,
Yeah, mate, it's yummy.
it is
and,
very yummy.
and you've got no money to play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade machine. So what about that? We're all playing that
that's
right
true. Yeah.
With ice cream, with sticky
now. Yeah,
fingers.
exactly. Matt,
Yep.
stop snowboarding, please. Can we
Nah,
just
this
grow
is-
up a little bit?
Nah, I mean that's what Jill said.
Was
She
it-
like, this is what happens if you start a hobby like this when you're 41? Right? Well,
The accident.
started it when I was 40.
Without going into too much detail, was it like because obviously it doesn't matter how good you are, these things can happen, right? Was this human error, Matt, or was this genuinely unavoidable?
Well, no. So where it happened, I thought we were going to save it for the bonus show, but let's get into it now.
Matt, but I will say, if you're not
Probably should.
if you're not watching this on YouTube or Twitch right
Oh
now,
yeah, here we go. It's my wrist.
Matt is such a professional that he's keeping the cast in shot at all times. It's quite incredible.
Max-
I do have
sympathy.
like a sling, but I can't be able to put it on.
Right, sorry.
for
So
the-
go back to answering.
Yeah.
Sean's
Anyway, but
question.
it happened on near the end of day one, and there's this bit where you kind of it's kind of like a slalom race. There's like flags. There's like a kind of a cordoned off area, and some people are like, let's go down this and do it as fast as we can. I wasn't gonna do that because I'm not as good as everyone else. So everyone,
Let's go down this and do it as fast as we can.
Yeah,
That
because
sounds
the whole
like
point
someone
is
in your head.
it's kind of a race. Like, but I'm not
Right.
good. Like some people have done the people on the trip. So they went for like 10 years plus, all of them. Like,
Okay.
anyway, one of them's like a former snowboarding champion. I'm clearly not on their level. This is my second trip ever, like skiing and snowboarding. So I'm not on that level. But went down. It was fun, you know. And then there's one bit where there's a tunnel, and I basically didn't realize how kind of tight the corner was to get. You know, you basically had like brake really suddenly, turn right. And I didn't do that. And rather than like braking really suddenly and turning right and going down a tunnel, I kind of smashed into the bank/wall of snow, and that's where it happened. And then I got up. I can feel it was obviously very painful, but you know, so I got up. I like went down the tunnel, and then kind of about 30 seconds later, kind of sat down because the pain was so immense. Now I can see all my friends from work like down there, and they're like, "Matt, come over here," and I'm like, I think I've done something bad here. I think this is really bad. I eventually kind of managed to get over there, and had some ibuprofen and paracetamol, and already it was getting swollen. And this is like a minute or so into it.
Right.
Anyway, so I had to like snowboard back down to the to the bottom of the mountain, and we had drinks and stuff. And then in the evening we were like googling it, like, well, is this a sprained wrist or is this a broken wrist?
Googling it. I mean, this is not.
No, because
what
is
did you
this
Google?
sprained or
Smash arm on ice wall?
No. We're basically saying
now.
like there's this questionnaire. So is this sprained or broken? And I'm like, well, honey, it can't be broken. I could squeeze it, I could twist it, I could do all sorts with it. I wasn't. I've never broken a bone before.
Don't they even just have a sign that says "broken bones this way"? Like on these.
Yeah,
things.
you would think they were. Yeah, they sort of used to it.
Yeah,
But yeah, possibly. But yeah, I just thought I've never broken a bone before. I assumed if I had, I wouldn't be even able to move the wrist. Anyway, we came to the conclusion that this is probably just a very, very severe sprain. Wake up in the morning and it's like
It was off.
It's
arm
red.
was off.
It's red. There's like a little bit sticking out. I'm like, is that a bone? Hard to say. I can push it back in. So I was like, maybe it isn't. I then in the morning I was like, okay, I don't really bloody want to, but fine. I went to a pharmacy. Then I went snowboarding. I was livid, but I was like, fine. I'll go to pharmacy and just get like a bandage or a strap. That's all I kind of need to keep me going for the rest of the holiday. Because bear in mind, this is. Well, we got it on Saturday. Didn't
Dr.
snowboard on
Matt
Saturday.
Murray diagnosing himself based on Google results. Like, this is insane.
So this was the Monday morning now. I was like, okay, fine, I'll go to pharmacy. Went to pharmacy and I walked in the door and queued off a bit. And I said to the woman, hey, I've done this. And she's like, whoa, okay, so doctor's appointments are, I don't know, I don't see a doctor. I don't want to see a doctor. Just
Google has
show
told me it's fine.
Yeah, just show me where like the straps are or like supports. And she's like, okay. We walk over to like the display where the wrist guards are and bandages, etc. And she started like going through the things, and she's like, okay, so you know what? No, see a doctor now. See a doctor now. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. She's like, look, I'll write down where you have to go. She wrote down this address. I walked down the road and I went in and I said, I've done this. Can I see a doctor? And they're like, oh, well, you need ID. I had to leave, came back with ID. But the service was really good, actually. We went in there and had x-rays and had x-rays with
them on Yelp?
No, because I haven't been used to like NHS where like if you don't get an appointment at 7:30 in the morning, you're basically fucked all day. Obviously, it's a ski town, so they're obviously used to this. But I went in, filled out a form, showed them my ID and my UK health insurance thing, and they're like, "Yep, half an hour, I had an appointment." Anyway, had my X-rays and whatnot, and then the doctor came in and looked at the X-ray for literally half a second and said, "Yeah, broken." I'm like, "Fucking hell!" It's really swollen nose.
One piece here,
yeah,
and then this other piece should be the same piece.
But by all means, Matt, get the strap based on the Google.
Here's
ibuprofen. Other stuff happened, but we're probably already going into too much detail.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, man. That is genuinely shit.
But it was a really upsetting couple of days. And after that, I thought, fuck it. So I did like black runs. I did like airbag jumps, wet in the park.
Yeah, but this where I lose sympathy for you. That's where it goes.
No, because I wasn't willing to like
I've snapped a bone now. I'll put myself in even more
danger. I already at that point need an operation. It's broken. What? How much worse can it get? I might as well try and
enjoy it.
It's
not worse.
It's
What's
most
worse
likely
than
to
a
just.
broken bone?
But once you've broken
more
it
broken bones.
It's gonna like that. That's the one place where it's gonna give again, right?
Yeah. Well,
You've
I just learned to fall in a different place, Sean. Just learned to fall in a different place. Anyway, just about salvaged our holiday, but there's more to say about that.
Okay, we'll talk about that on the bonus show because people don't want to hear that. People want
No,
to
they
hear
don't
about
want
People do want to hear it, and they want to pay money for it, Dave.
That's right.
Computer games, not my stupid
Just
life.
don't be as blatant as that, Sean. You sort of weave the
I think
idea into their
people
brain.
appreciate the honesty.
Patreon.com/TCGS for the full story. It's like those Twitch videos where it's like, oh, you won't believe what happened, and it always ends in, and then it goes back to the start of it, and it goes.
Yeah.
Well, then you've got to go to the fucking profile and find part 2 because should we get to feedback, Matt? Have you got any feedback on last week's show?
I finished it today. I thought it was really good. I thought my best bit was actually Sarah's takedown of that Silent Hill game because it's really detailed. It was really detailed, and it was like, here's all the reasons why it's shit, and also the fact she absolutely dunked on Bloober team saying they don't understand horror games and they shouldn't be anywhere near them. I respect that honesty. No, it is a good show, and not else to say really. There was a couple of you said one thing, David, about I think you said last Christmas and you're like, don't say it. And
Yeah,
I
I
knew
was
in my
thinking
head
you.
I would have
Yes.
tried to weave in the response,
Yeah,
obviously.
you would have.
So I was kind of glad at that
was-
point I wasn't on the show.
Yeah, it was legitimately your voice that I heard in my
Yeah.
head after I
Yeah.
said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at that point I was like, oh, thank God I'm not there because I would have said it. It would have been embarrassing. Yeah, no, it was a good show.
Cool. Let's get some feedback from the listeners, Matt.
Yeah, Joe Hollywood has messaged, read James's gun collection. James, I just spoke to my neighbour Ridley Scott about your gun obsession, and as you are aware, he directed The Duelists, 1977, and The Last Duel, 2021. If he were to make a third installment in his franchise, this time with pistols, you should answer the casting call as soon as it goes out. You would look terrific donning a wig of Matt Damon's mullet and wielding a pair of pistols, or a forced slaphead like the PS2 cover of Hitman Contracts. Think about it.
I am
shout.
thinking about it. I like the idea.
Yeah. Can we? Well, look, we're doing that then. We
Yeah,
need
it's
to
happening.
recreate that with you. How many pistols have you? How many firearms have you got in Germany?
None.
Are you that you're
all at home?
legally
In
happy
Germany.
to speak about?
And how many? Yeah, how many are you storing over here in the UK?
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about this.
Yeah,
Can
we do.
just. we don't.
We don't need to, but I'd quite
Yeah,
like
James
to.
is prepping, isn't
We
he?
don't need to do any of this. It's just fun.
Right.
It's just...
Okay. Next.
Mr. Scum has messaged. That's Mr. Scum. Dave, your brief rendition of Future Days from The Last of Us sounded more like bourbon gargling sleazeball Tom Waits than smooth-voiced Yarla Eddie Vedder. But I enjoyed it anyway. That's all. Probably should have tweeted this instead.
Yeah, good old Tom Waits. Oh, I say good old Tom Waits, but I do worry about the sleazeball Tom
Oh,
Waits.
yeah,
bit.
that threw me a bit.
Is
he,
it bad?
He's not a pest, is he?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he's
Ugh,
dead,
let's-
isn't he?
I'll check his Wikipedia page, see if there's a controversy section.
Yeah, that's always the
when
best
you
sign,
crack
isn't
on,
it? It'd be a shame if it was. Although a lot of Tom Waits music, I try to like rather than actually like. Do you know what I
like
mean?
the idea of it.
Yeah, I
rather
like
than
the idea of it. I listen to it, and it's like, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, why can't I get into this next?
I had your little soundbite in my head most of today, actually, for some reason. It made me laugh.
What?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, good stuff.
Oh my god.
Capone Adam, tin opener, it says here.
Okay.
I guess that's his of choice. Fantastic first guest episode of 2024. Sarah
Right,
was
I get it.
a joy as ever, though I did miss Matt's tragically underappreciated one-liners. Thank you, Adam. Spoiling a brand new game on a podcast is typically a sacrilegious affair, so I was quite taken aback when Sarah spoiled a major plot beats of Silent Hill with a short message. I think this might be a first for TCGS. Part of me thinks you could have got around spoiling by just discussing the harmful nature of the themes, but another part of me thinks, fuck you, Konami, and your shitty, socially damaging game.
Right.
It was interesting. I've not seen that podcast etiquette. Etiquette.
Well, that's the episode
of,
title.
Etiquette.
I've not seen that podcast etiquette of avoiding spoilers for a new game being thrown out the window quite so quickly before.
Yeah, no, we have been accused of spoiling games that have just come out. I think the last time it happened was when we were talking about the depths in the first episode of.
I thought we were quite careful around that stuff for a few weeks.
we are.
anyway.
Look, we are. Like, I've never got to a point where I've just
People
thought,
are
oh no, but yeah, some people are just like, there's a what in it, and or there's a crab in what.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how that works, but
Mr. Crab.
yeah, it's the spoiler stuff is so sensitive, and people have got different levels of it. But no, Sarah said up front that she was going to spoil it all. Like,
And
so
I think, when
that was
when a
okay.
game is not only genuinely bad but also like offensive and handles really sensitive themes that badly, I think it's open season, isn't it?
I don't agree with that. I think because some people might like the game, some people might think that they'll go into hating the game, but they shouldn't necessarily have the game spoiled for them. However, if we say up front, yeah, no, we're just going to spoil it, then well, it's kind of you've been warned. I don't know. I think if you give fair warning, there's no. I can't really see that as being an issue. But yeah, I kind of don't like the idea that we've deemed the game not good enough so we can spoil it. Like that's probably not the route we're going down. And we have been quite. We are. I think personally, from my threshold, we're pretty good with spoiler stuff. But I know that I know people personally that they're like, there's a level set in a jungle. Why the fuck have you spoken about that?
An enemy jumps out. Well,
yeah.
Now, isn't it?
So So it's a tough one to sort of manage, but hopefully we get it right most of the time.
Yeah, if any, it's kind of annoying because it really limits conversation where you say, I want to talk about that cool bit. But it's the right thing to do, I think, to limit it.
Yeah, for sure.
Luke Summer Hayes, can't believe Dave responded to Puppy in My Pocket without breaking into You've Got a Pony in Me Pocket, Shane.
What's that? Got a pony in my pocket.
Only fools.
I got a pony in my pocket. Yeah, no, good point, actually. But yeah. I missed that one, Luke. I'm a plastic fan.
Yeah, he's a fake fan.
Only
Luke
Fools
also
fan.
says, appreciate you.
He
Push
doesn't even live
Button
in
Joe.
London.
We all remember Push Button Joe, don't we?
We do.
We do.
CDs and the playing music. Did you know PS5 can't play audio CDs? Xbox X can, but you have to download an app. Isn't that fucked? There's a surprisingly reasonable explanation for it, but I won't tell. Read a book. Much love,
We know. We've
Joe Push Button.
spoken about it, isn't it? It's licenses.
Yeah, I just
so,
won't want to pay the license for it.
The
Yeah.
Red Book standard is owned by Philips, I think. I mean, it's weird because it was created by Philips and Sony, but for some, I
Right.
think Philips control the licensing for some reason.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's,
So
it's like with MP3s, like, which is even weird because with MP3s, it's like the codec is free unless you are bundling it with a device that you're selling.
Oh, really?
So that's why so many devices are like, yeah, we can play MP3s, but you just go to this website and download the file.
Codec,
and
yeah.
it's-
Well, that's why Audacity, if you want to export to MP3, you had to
Yeah,
download
you have to download
Yeah.
lame.dll or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's really annoying. But yeah, no, that's it. I mean, if they were to license every single Xbox as a CD player, then it would cost them a lot of money. But if they just give the option, then they know that 99% of Xbox owners are not downloading to play CDs
But then,
on.
It's a
that,
bit
but then
like
that
what they
doesn't
did.
answer why the Xbox can do that and the PS5 seemingly can't. I wonder
Well,
what
I don't
the...
think they
Not, it's
can't. I
not
just
powerful
don't
enough,
think
Sean. It's not powerful
just
enough.
can't
It
do
can't
I
do
don't
it.
think the PS5.
4 kilohertz.
Just, but,
you know.
knowing Sony, they just don't want to. Like, I think that's more of a likely.
Do you remember with the original Xbox when that came out, how it didn't play DVD films out of the box, and you had to buy the remote control so that it did?
No, you didn't
Yeah.
have to buy them.
No, you
Did
did.
you?
It didn't play them out of the box like DVD films. You had to buy
I
the
didn't know
remote
that.
because then that was, I don't know, but I think
Oh, I tell you
I
why
had
I
that
didn't know
remote.
that, because mine came with the thing. Because if you bought a what's they called it? They had two. They had
Media pack?
the arcade, and they had whatever.
No. You're talking. Do you mean the 360 or the original Xbox, James?
the original Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I didn't know that about the. Oh, right. Sorry, I'm thinking of 360. Yeah, the original Xbox. I bought that quite late on, I think. So, yeah, I missed
I had that
all
remote. It is lovely, a lovely old remote.
stuff. Yeah,
Still got it.
yeah.
Still
Yeah.
use it.
All right.
Have you?
Next bit of feedback.
The Wiz. Oh my giddy gosh. Dave bringing up Ancient Arthur books last week brought me some serious childhood memories flooding back. I think I had one of the Ancient Arthur books, but they fell under the umbrella of the Usborne Puzzle Adventures. The ones I remember having were Escape from Blood Castle, The Curse of the
We're
Lost
not doing
Idol.
this. You don't
We're
need to
doing
read
it,
all
James.
that, Matt.
Hold on, no, it's bringing memories back. Shut up, James. Curse of the Lost Idol, I remember. What was the next one?
Time Train to Ancient Rome.
I think I had that one.
Murder
on
on
the
the
Midnight
Mi-
Plane.
Where-
Yeah, these are all great episode titles as
When
well.
the time train arrives in ancient Rome, where does it go?
You got to read it. You got to roll 6 to find out. Sure.
No tracks.
Read the
No,
fucking
it's
book.
It's just going to land on the ground and then just stop.
Murder on the Midnight Plane. I remember that one.
And the Incredible Dinosaur Expedition. Anyway, thanks, Dave. You just cost me 25 quid as I did a search for the books and found this link. I'm not going to read the link out, but there's a link there where I bought 2 compendium books of all the ones I remember. Amazing.
Oh,
Keep up the
right.
good work.
Yeah,
The
I had
Wiz.
loads of these. Yeah, they were great. Big up. Sorry, I turned into Bevo.
But I will say, actually, one other bit of feedback. I did also love those Sonic Choose Your Own Adventure books, Dave. I had a couple and big
yeah,
fan
we're
of them.
definitely doing one of them. We're definitely doing one of those.
Yeah, you should.
Maybe we do
Totally.
that as one of our talks over thing. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what we
yeah.
do. Yeah.
be good.
Chelsea have just equalised against Palace, Matt.
Yeah,
just let you know.
everything.
But I got a message off my brother. He had loads of these apparently. I've no memory of them, even though there's only
Does
like
he
2 years
listen? Does
between
your brother
us.
listen?
Yeah.
Who's his favourite?
I mean, he's never said, so not me, I guess.
Okay,
But
interesting. Imagine if it was you. Would that feel weird? Like if my brother said, "No, I listen to the show and you're my favourite, David," I'll go, "That's weird. Please stop."
Don't listen ever
every
again.
time I see him,
Don't-
he's like, you are wasting your time.
So I only listen for you.
Skip the
Sean,
others.
I really fucking hate James.
Does anyone hate
Can you
James?
tell him that
Surely not.
sometime?
No one hates James.
No, James is a favourite somehow. He doesn't fucking do
He is
anything.
the fan
He's
favourite.
It kills me. We'll work our arse off. Yes, Matt, next bit of feedback.
Nazim, hi folks. If you're still accepting game pitch ideas, how about a Superman game where you don't play as Superman? Picture a Sin City-esque game where you build up and manage your town, only for Superman and the baddie of the week to occasionally level parts of it during a slap-off.
Imagine going to a publisher and pitching his idea, though. You're going to do a Superman game, so we're going to pay for the Superman license. That's quite pricey, but what are we going to do with it to make sure people buy it? Oh, you're not going to play as Superman. You're just going to play as a normal person. Superman just flies over every now and then.
Wreck
I mean,
shit.
this is arguing that Superman's essentially going to be a natural disaster, like
from
time to time. Yeah.
Someone must
Yeah,
have
it's like-
modded
yeah,
that
it's
into
like-
SimCity or something. You see, because when I heard the first half, I thought it was going to be like you're just a regular punter trying to like survive in the city while buildings are crashing down and stuff.
But once again, you're going to pay for the Superman license to not have him as the main
No,
character.
it'd be really
It's
good
pretty-
because when you're pitching it, it can be like, right, so in Metal Gear Solid 2, you played as this other guy, right, and it was sort of cool because it was about like you're looking at the main hero but from a different perspective, and then be like, oh, did everyone like that? Well, no, they all hated it, but it was.
They moan about it to this day.
See, also, I read this. It says picture a Sin
Yes, I was about to
City-esque
ask that.
game. And I
So-
was just thinking, is this like film noir? Like,
I think
kind
it
of-
means
Yeah.
Sim City, right?
yeah.
But yeah,
so.
I pictured like noir style. But yeah,
not the
it's
film
probably,
slash.
it's probably supposed to be Sim City, but now I like Sin City in that style. Both work.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your feedback, everyone.
Yeah, go to tcgs.co/dear tcgs. Leave your feedback.
I mean, it's probably time to go through the news, isn't it, James? But look, if you're listening to this when the podcast comes out on Wednesday, obviously we don't know what this Microsoft stuff is. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I'm getting so frustrated that we're putting this out on Wednesday, the day that everyone's going to find out what the fuck is going on, and we're
Day
going to be
before,
sitting there
right?
going,
No, it's the day
15th
before.
they announced it.
Thursday. Yeah.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
Thursday.
is it
they're gonna-
Thursday?
But
Okay,
yeah,
well,
so
there's
what-
a bit of breathing room then.
Yeah, well, we should probably now talk about what's happened. Yeah, so in the last few hours, Microsoft have confirmed they're doing a podcast on Thursday evening
Yeah,
to
get
talk
off
about
our
the future.
fucking turf. What are you trying to get? Well, hello there. and
Well, you
welcome.
haven't actually explained what we're talking about rather than just like the Microsoft thing.
No, I agree with you. I'm saying get off our turf to Phil Spencer and Xbox.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, releasing a gaming podcast, are we now? Oh, they've seen the success that we've
What are they?
raked in. They're trying to get a little piece of that pie.
Are
The
they going to
Xbox.
get Major Nelson back for that podcast?
Are they going? I thought you were going to say, are they going to plug the Full Nels crew at the start of that podcast and ask for Patreon subscribers, please? Right, the news, James. Let's get to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's been obviously a lot of nonsense and a lot of chat about this over the last week. It's been a bit crazy, but it turns out that, I mean, the most recent thing I've got here, apart from the fact that they're finally going to reveal whatever this is on Thursday, as Matt just said, is that Phil Spencer called an all-town staff, whatever, town hall meeting last Tuesday.
Beg your pardon.
An all-town staff
all
stand up.
town staff, whatever meeting.
Yeah, it's all staff, town hall
Okay, look,
meeting.
I misread it as I was reading it and then got stuck and then continued.
He's
talking
calling an
nonsense.
all-hall staff and
meeting.
town.
Soiree.
Yeah.
So anyway, this all-town staff meeting...
All staff town hall meeting.
Town staff. If you live outside of town, you're not welcome to the meeting.
No, this is
Right.
just strictly for
This
town
is just
staff.
for the town staff, please. the Microsoft town staff.
So all this all-town staff thing, right? They had this last Tuesday, and this is where they tried to address the rumours about the fact that Xbox games might come out on other platforms. Basically, according to Eurogamer, Phil Spencer said this didn't mean that they weren't still committed to Xbox,
Right.
and that also apparently first-party games might be coming to multiple kinds of devices, and then they're going to talk about this later.
What does that mean?
And that's the thing,
Multiple
we
kinds?
don't know anything about this at all. It's I mean, it sounds like it's probably more than Sea of Thieves is coming out on PlayStation,
Yes.
but probably not as much as being like, we're not making hardware anymore, because Phil Spencer's already said they're not going to do that. But then,
I think right. Okay, so for those of you that are not following this and don't know what we're talking about, this all started a while ago when some rumours were being bandied about that Microsoft was going multi-platform with their or Xbox was going multi-platform with their Xbox exclusive games, right? There was a few that was mentioned: Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, different games were being mentioned. And by the time we recorded last week, pretty much every Microsoft game or Xbox game had been mentioned in this rumor.
Even Minesweeper.
Yeah, even Minesweeper. But we'd seen Gears of War being mentioned, and we'd seen all these big games that Xbox put out. I don't know why.
Space Cadet Pinball, for instance.
All right. That's
Fusion
enough.
Frenzy.
He's on the wiki.
Get out!
Okay, let's
Is
all-
it called Space Cadet? Is it called Space Cadet Pinball? It is. Yeah,
So-
yeah, big stuff.
So Microsoft have now announced that they will be doing a podcast next on Thursday, explaining what this is all about. And I think where we're all sitting, based on what we've been saying to each other in the WhatsApp groups these past few days, is that clearly it's not as simple as we're releasing Sea of Thieves on PlayStation, but we don't think it's anything mind blowing, because why would they do it on a podcast? Like it feels like it would need something a little bit more substantial if it is we're heading out of the console race and just turning into a publisher, which some people are saying is going to happen.
I can't see that happening.
No, nor can I. What I think, if this is, there was an article on The Verge that come out today that seemed to suggest that what the announcement is going to be is that Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment is coming to PlayStation, with Sea of Thieves being promised down the line. If that's the announcement, then there are going to be a lot of video game journalists that need to sort of just fucking calm it down a little bit.
I think it has to be more than that, because that could be a statement. That could be like that. Why would they get them? These three, so on the podcast, it'd be Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, president of Xbox, and Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios. If it's just we're releasing that, why get them three on? That could be
because they're worried that their hardcore fans are going to get so incensed by the idea. I think that they need to deliver the message themselves. I think
the train has already departed the station on that.
Leaving a week is just.
I think if it was smaller, I think that if it was bigger, would they have left it this long? I don't know. I don't understand the tactic. I don't understand the time it's taken for them to get to the point.
My thought about that is that it's like they were, leaks happened. They were caught unawares, and they didn't have everything ready and all the ducks in a row for them, just because it's been like, say like for the GTA trailer, I mean it's very different obviously, but that got leaks and they're like, okay, fuck it, was press published, we're ready to go. Whereas this,
Xbox
they clearly weren't
in the past.
But for this
exactly
they weren't ready.
When the Series S, all the information about the Series S leaked, they went, fuck it, here's all the information about the Series S. And that was a console launch. So they've got history of reacting to news leaking and dealing with it quickly. They have actively chosen not to do it this time, and it feels like a marketing ploy at this point. Like they're building up all this information so everyone's going to be listening to that.
I was going to say, I think you're giving too much credit.
They've just let other conversations fill that space, and that's going to change how we perceive whatever the official announcement is, regardless. If they jumped in and said, "Here we go," we've had a week of people kicking off fanboys. What's the future of Xbox? If they said, "Here it is," fine. But right now, all the rumors and all the other tittle tattle is controlling the narrative. Controlling the narrative, isn't it? Which it's just weird for an organization like this to not jump on it and get out there and control the message and control the leak, rather than just letting other people control it. And now they're going to come on this.
You're right.
It's just weird.
I agree with that, because this whole thing just feels like really. It feels like it has been quite damaging, honestly, to the whole, by saying nothing, for such a long period of time. It's very strange.
There must be a reason. And today's announcement's ridiculous. Today's announcement, we're doing it on a podcast on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? Why?
Yeah.
But is that because they want to have some sort of conversation to explain this rather than just as a statement?
God, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I definitely think they want to deliver the message and make it sound personable. It's not going to be a very serious, straight down the line presentation. It's going to be a casual chat about the future of Xbox.
But you see, and that is what leads me to believe that this may be more than just those three games or whatever are coming, because if you're doing it in sort of a more casual way and you're trying to not make a big thing out of it, that feels like you're trying to keep your fan base happy, even though maybe the actual story is stronger.
But then is that it in the sense that like the announcement isn't that big at all, but the noise around it has become so ridiculous
Yeah.
that they've gone, right, well, we need to get fucking Phil Spencer and say, like, or else
Could be.
people are going to
They
kick
just
off.
put out a tweet with a statement saying this is what it is.
So what do you think?
But
What
I
do you
think
think
people
it is
would
then,
kick
Matt?
off because I think
James,
that would...
what do you think it is then? What is that next level up from those 3 games coming to PlayStation?
I think it is going to be things like Indiana Jones and stuff like that will come out on PlayStation as well at the same time that they come out on Xbox. I think that's probably what they're also.
So you
going
think
to say.
day and date for exclusives on other?
Yeah.
Well, no exclusives anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. It's so I think they're going to start off with some of these like older games and trying, like porting stuff over and everything, and then gradually they're going to move to actually most games are going to come out on other systems.
Well, wouldn't
as
it make sense to do a bit more of what Sony are doing, saying, hey, we're releasing stuff on PC, but it's not instant. Like
they already do that, don't they? Like this stuff.
That's
comes
what
out on
Matt's
PC.
saying.
but do it on other consoles.
Yeah, wouldn't it be a
Yeah,
better
so
idea
it makes
for-
sense for Pentiment and Hi-Fi Rush because they've been out for a while, and Sea of Thieves, but like, Indiana Jones, it will eventually come onto other platforms, PC, PlayStation X, Switch, whatever, but like, it comes out on Xbox, best player on Xbox, but we know in the future there is plans to obviously take the catalogue elsewhere, but doing a day and date, I don't know, that just feels ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Especially given all the financial things that came out last week of, financial results of Microsoft, and now
Brilliant
Xbox's.
Brilliant segue onto the next story, James.
Yeah, I mean,
What
yeah.
are these financial stories that have come out?
But you
of
see,
Xbox?
what you're saying about like it not making sense, I agree with you. But then no, because I want to address that point. But I don't think Xbox is terribly well run, honestly. Like, and so it seems that things don't go so well, like quite frequently. So I don't know. I can imagine them
What do you mean by that
something.
exactly? I mean, the fact that we've been waiting like years for games.
Yeah,
I mean, like obviously,
exactly.
think
The
about
fact
where we are
that
now
they've-
compared to the Matrix years. Xbox feels in a much better place, but they haven't kicked on
But
in the
it's
way we
not.
would hope.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, I was reading today. It's like tracking worse than the Xbox One in terms of like sales and stuff. I mean, that's not great. Like, I don't know.
But it's also not surprising given so many of the it's been pretty rubbish for exclusives in the last couple of years, and also you can play them on PC. So there is even less reason to own one now than there was with Xbox One, where there were console exclusives that only went on there and weren't on PC. So I don't know. It's kind of not surprised. Like the consoles are great, and I love my Xbox, but it's less. People saying for years, there's no reason to own one really. If you've got a PC, why would I bother?
That's not true though. Like, if you say there's no reason to own one, what about Game Pass? That was supposed to be the reason to own one.
But you get Game Pass on PC.
But yeah, it doesn't have the same catalog, does it?
It doesn't, but like you can get a lot of that. I don't know. It's just I'm not surprised in many ways. It is trending lower than Xbox One, frankly, given they seem to have deprioritized the console itself anyway.
Mm.
Right.
Anyway, I mean, in terms of, as David was just saying, in terms of sales, there's been like some data that's come out from Take-Two. It seems that indicates that the PS5 has outsold the Xbox Series consoles by about 2-1. And in the
That
last
feels
year,
low.
But that's already changed from what there were reports at the end of last year saying it was 3-1.
Yeah, that's for that year. But overall, since they've come out, it's 2-1. But if you look at just 2023, it's 3-1.
Yeah, that 2-1 seems like that also seems really low, considering how isn't PS5 trending above PS4 at this point anyway, and like all the deprioritization of Xbox consoles. I would have thought it'd be 4-1 if anything. It's
Right.
I don't know, I'm not sure how I thought about that really.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, moving on, we've also got the FTC who are trying to get involved again because basically they're arguing that because of the layoffs that happened at Activision, this proves that Microsoft have not sort of fulfilled what they were supposed to have done with this merger. But the idea was supposed to be that they indicated that Activision was going to kind of operate as a limited integration studio,
Right.
and that it would be kind of separate from Microsoft to a degree. But by having all these layoffs, it kind of indicates that that's not the case, and that it is a very integrated company. Therefore, this should be looked at again by the FTC. This is the argument. And but Microsoft have responded. They said, consistent with broader trends in the gaming industry, Activision was already planning on eliminating a significant number of jobs while still operating as an independent company. The recent announcement thus cannot be attributed fully to the merger. So basically, yeah, that's their argument, is that this is all going to happen anyway. And
It's so messy, isn't it? It
Yeah,
really
it's
is
incredibly
messy, like,
grim that like hearing that Microsoft response. I'm like, oh god, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah,
It's
but
awful.
also that it's, when you're saying you're taking over a company and they're going to be completely independent, where, as we were talking about last week, it sounds like they're going to be merging some of their departments, like for example, customer support. Then you go, well, hold on, hold on a minute, maybe you're not. Yeah, it's it's all a bit murky, isn't it?
Also, James, you promised us last year that there will be no more acquisitions news stories. So what the fuck's happened here?
well, this is a kind of reverse acquisition potentially. If it goes wrong. So it's
Oh, it's a
The
reverse
opposite,
acquisition. Yeah.
in a way.
yeah. Okay, that's it. That's it for the Xbox stuff for the
We
moment.
will obviously know more next week. We'll be reacting to all the news that comes out throughout the week on next week's show. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that seem to be getting very bored of this Xbox chat. But what can you do? It's fascinating stuff, and I genuinely could change the way that we play video games in the future. It's a big thing. So all I'm saying is stop fucking moaning. All right.
Okay, next story is that Reuters are saying that Nintendo Switch 2 is expected later this year.
Whoa!
Whoa, that's a
I
wild
can't
word,
believe
sir.
that. Jesus! Wow! Holy
Wow.
fuck!
What a prediction!
I mean,
You're not getting
alright,
a point
calm
for that.
down.
Wilson.
Do you wanna-
Wilson, we're not allowing that.
Calm down,
prediction.
Reuters.
It's too obvious.
I mean,
It's
do
too
you want to
obvious.
hear something even more amazing from
Go
the
on.
from the
You don't get a
Reuters?
point for this, Reuters.
So they said Nintendo's
done it.
current Switch handheld console already includes Nvidia's Tegra X1 chip. A new version of the Switch console expected this year is likely to include an Nvidia custom design. So that's there you go. That's
Great
Fucking
work.
a great story. Yeah.
Holy shit! And people
New
say we're
console will
boring.
have new trips, but yeah, it's
Listen to that. I mean, there's also a rumor that you haven't got this.
Yeah, I've
in
got-
your news.
so I've got the other rumor. Do you mean about the backwards compatible stuff? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the. Isn't there supposed to be a Nintendo Direct this week?
Direct, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, on the Thursday, and people are like, is that suspicious? Same day as the Xbox news. Duh, duh, duh. Probably not.
What was the noise?
Duh,
Oh, was
duh,
it like
duh.
was it the shock? Da, da, da.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, right, okay. You just got no tone.
Got nothing.
You can't.
I've got nothing.
Can't keep a note.
I can sing Adele, actually.
You can sing
Better than she
Adele.
can, I bet.
There's different.
Yeah, well, thank you, Sean. I'm glad someone's had the balls to say it.
Hold on. Go on then.
Next news story, James.
I love that song.
Look.
Yeah.
Look. There's nothing better than new Nintendo hardware. There's nothing better. It's so
Right,
exciting.
right.
I can't wait to see what comes out. Like, I cannot wait to see where they're going with this.
Again, surely we're going to hear something in the next 2 months.
Do you
if
reckon
the timelines are correct?
Say there's a full-on Nintendo Direct this week.
Mm-hmm.
Do they mention it?
Oh, well,
No.
the rumors it's a partner direct this week, but yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, again, all the rumors say, "Hey, we'll probably hear something." First quarter, big
I
thing
was
at
going to say,
E3.
would they not wait until sort of late March so that Switch sales don't take a nosedive before the end of the financial
Financial.
year?
Possibly.
Yeah, that's a good one,
I mean, they.
April 1st. Here we
The
go.
way they should announce it, they should just say this is the future of Nintendo. They should let everyone know that whatever Direct it is about their new console. Like that is the one.
Yeah, but they
Mainly
won't,
so
will
that
they?
we can
They
do a
keep us
talk
guessing,
over.
and we'll have to work it out ourselves as
Oh, yeah,
per
it's the-
usual.
Because the
I think
Switch reveal, we all knew it was going to be the Switch reveal, didn't we?
That's
There's
right.
no ambiguity around that. Sorry, James.
Did we?
Yeah, because I remember like being in work and then just be like, I'm just gonna go to the toilet, guys. I'm just gonna...
What, to jerk off?
No,
joke it.
just to watch the video whilst having a poo.
Oh, that's
Oh.
more embarrassing.
Yeah, that's worse. You should have said, you should go on jerking off.
Headphones on, don't want to be,
I thought we
ashamed.
all thought this was going to be a Wii U peripheral. Was that not the case?
What was the next news story then, James? What was the other thing that was coming out?
So the next story with this is also that there's been a report from Universo Nintendo, which is a
Oh, yeah.
Portuguese website.
My favourite
yeah.
blog.
Yeah, but they have been right about things before. Like they have revealed information before that's been
Have
correct.
they been wrong about
Such
things
as?
before?
Almost certainly, but I don't know what those are.
Well, there we go.
Been wrong.
I'll let us know what they've been
most
right
of
on.
the time. They've been right.
They've
Three
been right
times.
before about when Nintendo Directs have happened, and also what the content of some of those Nintendo Directs has been.
It's happening between the months of January and December, and
Do
games
you
will
think
be
anyone
revealed.
ever says this stuff about Jose?
What? They're
Everyone's like,
wankers,
oh, well,
yeah.
on the computer
I
game
said
show,
it
they
was-
said this is going to happen. They have been right twice before.
they were right about Jose Mourinho.
Yeah,
that's
Farley's
about
Fantasy
it.
Zone has a 100% record as well.
Who's he talking to? What are his sources? I can't...
I love JapaneseGames.com.
Go on.
But the rumor is, according to them, is that the Switch 2 is going to have backwards compatibility for like physical games and also digital games, but also that developers will be able to enhance their existing games if they want to. Like they could like release patches or whatever that will then like enhance them and make them look better or whatever, that kind of stuff. And apparently there's going to be a hardware reveal event sometime in March.
Okay.
Do you reckon they'll do it on a podcast? They could do that.
No, I don't think they know
do
what
it on the
podcast is.
Xbox podcast.
Yeah, that'd be even better. Yeah.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for new Nintendo hardware. I'm gonna start saving because I'm getting that. Here's what I was thinking the other day though. Right, we're all gonna get the new Nintendo thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen.
Damn
That's the way
straight.
it works, right? When our kids want to use it, I'm gonna be like, well, you've got your Switches, so
We're not buying 2 of the new ones.
no.
So
And you're like, look, this plays
yeah.
the other ones anyway, so if anything, it's not even that new.
That
It
is
plays the old games.
gonna be a
and-
tough conversation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm gonna deal with that.
But it's also going to be more expensive, I reckon. I mean, like Switch was like launched at 280, like given
No,
inflation.
it was more than that, I think, wasn't it?
Okay, I
Wasn't
thought it
it
was
over
around 280.
300? It was over 300, wasn't it? The
Wasn't
Switch?
it 349?
Yeah, because I remember
Oh,
James
okay.
being like, I won't buy it if it's over that. And it was over that. And he went, I'm still buying it.
But I just have a feeling, given inflation and stuff, this is not going to be that price. So it'll probably be close to
Yeah, because Nintendo
450
famously
or
never,
something.
never sell hardware at a loss either, whereas the
Yeah.
others often do.
So it won't be quite the same as before. But
Have you Googled it, James? What's the UK? Oh, it was 280. You're absolutely right. That seems quite cheap.
Was
now,
it
doesn't
280? I thought it was
Does
349.
I would
Yeah,
like,
I thought
and I'd like an apology now, actually, from both of you.
Yeah, I apologise.
And you, James?
£279.99. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry,
you
Matt,
did
you're
buy
right.
8 of them.
I
on
couldn't hear you.
launch
There
day.
was that.
James, you did buy 8 of them on launch day, so that might have coloured you.
Yes, no wonder you thought they were like 1,500 quid. That was the lot.
No, 350 was what you spent on Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Actually,
Didn't we
I'm
work
saving
out
for
that it
one
was
at the
over
moment.
£1,000? Didn't we work out that game?
No,
cost
no, it
James
wasn't over £1,000. It wasn't
I
that
think
much.
it was.
It cost more than my light.
No, okay. Switch lights. Okay, so Switch light was 199, right? So that's 200. So that was how many Switches did I buy? I don't remember.
7?
Yeah, you did buy 7. You bought 7 Switches, and you bought 4 copies of the game. I think.
I did buy 4 copies of the game. That's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm pretty sure it was over 700 quid at the very least.
Totally worth it for lockdown, I can tell you. It was,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
excellent.
I guess
Send
so.
yourself that lid.
So on these rumors, I mean, like nothing too surprising. Obviously, Nintendo loves to repackage and resell games. So
They
the
do, but
idea
they
I
that-
don't
can't
think
do
they'll
that
get
this
away
time.
with that this time.
They can't do that this time.
Yeah,
They
they,
can't.
like-
People have built up their digital libraries, and they now fully expect their digital libraries to be available on their next console.
And loads
That's
of
the
people
way it
have
is now.
Switches, whereas no one had a Wii U. So.
Yes, correct.
I mean, all true. But look all the money they've made on re-releasing these games, and
I
So
just
again, I
can't
think that's
see
because of a
how they get away
specific
with
set
it
of
now.
circumstances with how shite the Wii U did.
That's true. That's true.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
I
But no, good.
Yeah, I
Good,
mean,
all
they're
sounds
not going. I mean, if they release another fucking Mario Kart 8 on the new system, you're gonna be pissed off, aren't you? Like,
Not if
that's
it comes
enough.
with 2 extra tracks.
There's no way they're going to do that again. That's
Okay.
it's
Well,
impossible.
look, I think
It's Nintendo. We can't predict anything anymore. We know what they're like.
I hate that though, but and I know you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Matt. But I don't think in this day and age you can get away with doing that. People expect it now, and everything's changed. Since you're looking back to the Wii, and even then people weren't buying their games digitally. It was all.
But with like, I mean, it's not the same. Yeah, we definitely moved on. It's so different in it to how it was. But Virtual Console, like, well, surely those games will move over, weren't they? Like, no, you have to rebuy that.
Well, the virtual
know.
console, yeah, but the virtual, yeah, I don't know. We are in a different era,
Yeah,
and
we
look
are
at
massively.
how they're doing their virtual console stuff now. They're doing it through subscriptions, not through buying the games individually. So I don't know. I think
But
it's
even-
kind of different.
even between Wii and Wii U, they had like that. They allowed you to bring the games over, but then they had like that upgrade fee, didn't they? That they
Yeah.
charged on
Yep.
each
I just
game.
can't see them doing it. They can't get away with it this time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if they do go with that tactic again, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
Probably still have a really successful console, but
Exactly.
they will be
Yeah, but
absolutely
people soon
slaughtered.
forget.
Yeah, we'll see. I just don't. I think we're past that point now where we can say, well, they can get away with it, so they will. I genuinely think the consumer market has passed that point now, and it would just be such a stupid thing to do.
You're right. Like people have got, as you said, people have got far too used to like having like a digital library, whatever. That if you buy a new phone, you can still access that stuff. On a thing. It's a bit.
But you buy a new console. That's more important. You buy a new console now. You buy an Xbox. It has all the games you bought digitally on Xbox. You buy a PlayStation. It's got all your PS4 games that you bought digitally, which is where you bought most of your games digitally. You know what I mean?
You just have to pay
It wasn't on PS3,
£10
it's PS4.
to get the upgrade.
Well, no, because you could still play the PS4 versions for
You could, yeah. So here you can still play the Switch 1 versions on your Switch 2, but if you really want, bells and whistles, you have to.
Yeah, well,
Only
I
up
mean
some cash.
that's possible. They
I could see
do
that happening.
Yeah, but
like developers doing that to get a bit of, to pay for the upgrade.
Yeah, because enhancing their games takes time and effort and money and resources. So, more power to them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some do that.
yeah, it feels shitty though, doesn't it?
It does, but it depends how enhanced they will be. But
Okay, all right.
exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, very exciting. Next story is that a leaker has hinted at a new FIFA game developer. So I mean, remember we had all this before where we talked about how FIFA said they were going to have the best game on the market and how it was going to be the best. Yeah,
Is it Naughty Dog?
it's not Naughty Dog.
Is that why they cancelled the multiplayer thing? So they're working on a new FIFA.
It's not. No, it turns out that it is probably 2K. 2K Games may be working on this.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
That does make the most sense. I would like to see what that game comes out like, because I think that is going to have years and years of. I mean, remember these are all rumors, but that needs so much development to get to even a competent standard. I mean, you look at what Konami are doing with eFootball, and you just think, holy shit, you're still so far behind.
But the 2K sports
got
games
its own
were widely
problems,
regarded as really good when they,
Yeah, that was
NBA, etc. So
yeah,
it makes
we'll
sense.
see.
I'm really devastated that they haven't partnered with Konami because that would have been so funny. If you'd have had like eFootball, but it becomes FIFA.
Konami would be like, no, we've already made our own really good football
Yeah,
game.
why would we do that?
Oh yeah, Konami, where? Where is it? It's because we're still waiting. Okay.
Final story. Ubisoft CEO has defended Skull and Bones' $70 price point, he's called it a quadruple-A release. Yeah. So this
An
was during
extra A.
this was during an investor call because someone was questioning why the game has been released at the full price.
So the way you said investor call then just made me think that you said testicle. I don't know why. It was like investor call.
Investicles.
You hit me right in the investicles.
this was during a testicle.
Another episode title. We're up to like 4 now.
Investicles.
But also investicles is like, who's the expert on investing, and then James has to, etc.
Also, really, really good play that investicles. Was he a ghost? Did he know them?
Yeah.
The victim?
Yeah.
We
It's
never
social
knew.
commentary.
Well, next.
So the investor was questioning why, because this
We're
seems to
fucking
be.
idiots, a lot of us. I'm fucking knobheads. No wonder some people fucking hate this show.
Yeah, well, they're idiots for hating it.
Yeah, I know.
true.
Yeah. Is it
Fuck 'em.
obvious that I've read some really bad feedback recently and it's bummed me out? It's playing on
Have
my
we had
mind.
more this week? I didn't see any.
Oh, it's everywhere, boy.
Okay.
I mean,
you know,
Joe tells me.
The kids were reading our iTunes reviews the other day.
Really?
and
How did that go?
They weren't that impressed.
Daddy,
what's
what's
a
a
communist?
socialist?
Yeah, exactly.
Daddy, what's a great rapport?
What's a pub?
That is a callback to like our third episode.
I know.
That's unreal. Go on.
Only OG fans will know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, during this event, people were asking why it was that Skull and Bones, which appears to be like a live service kind of game, is being released at full price because they thought this may limit the audience, that fewer people will buy it for that reason. But
Great
then,
question.
but
There
then
are other reasons why they've refused to buy it, but go on.
Yves Guillemot has replied and he said, "You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. it's a really full quadruple-A game that will deliver in the long run.
Quadruple?
Yeah. So there you go.
Holy shit, that's
And
12 A's.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot of A's.
That's
It is a lot
12
of
of them.
A's.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've got to say Scarlet Bows is a fully fledged game, that's not the best statement. And then saying it's a very big game, like, all right, it's actually the biggest game I know, and I
Yeah.
know a few of them.
I mean, is anyone? Because the open beta was last week. Is it still going? Not sure. Maybe like.
We'll get to
Sean, have
that.
you played it? Because I put this here because I thought you'd played it, and I thought it would segue nice
I
into
have.
the.
He hate played it. You know he's never going to like it, no matter
No,
what it's
right.
like.
Hang on, because all right,
Hang
don't
on.
generally get on with Ubisoft stuff,
Yeah.
but do really like pirates, and I loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag, right?
And
they
boats.
and I know they went on to do, they did like Assassin's Creed Rogue, but it wasn't quite the same because it was in the Arctic. It's like sort of lost the fun. So part of me, like when Skull and Bones was first announced, I was like, holy shit, they are doing the pirate game. Thank fuck, because obviously Assassin's Creed went away from the pirate stuff, which is fair enough because Black Flag was like barely an Assassin's Creed game. So I really tried, Dave. I really did.
So, is it bad?
mean,
Remembering this is an open beta.
This is an open beta. Obviously, it's a huge game, as we've just heard.
Yeah, it's a very big game.
It's a fully fledged game, I
So
heard.
all I'm
fully fledged one.
commenting on is the opening, which I genuinely thought was dreadful. Certainly the idea that, like, in terms of production values, it doesn't even come close to like other Ubisoft stuff.
Really.
Okay,
Like-
hang on, Sean.
Go on.
Could this be because you can't truly appreciate a quadruple-A game?
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
You don't quite have the palette for that level of A.
It's like you start off and you're just in this big ship battle, which like fair enough. Obviously, they're trying to show you where the game's gonna go, right? This big battle's kicking off, and like the handling of the ships is like comical because they just like turn like really quickly, and like it just
Yes.
looks silly. But obviously, like that annoyed me a bit. But I'm like, yeah, but come on, it's a video game. Like, shut up. Like, am I having fun? Yeah, kind of. But there's all this dialogue going on about all these characters if you're supposed to know who they are and like these ship names and stuff, and it's setting up the story basically. But you're taking none of it in.
Yeah.
You end up like your ship gets blown up, and you get like shipwrecked, and then you wash up somewhere else, and then basically you're starting again in this boat that doesn't have any guns. It's
Do you
just a
control
little-
the pirates then, or is it
only
just
in towns, and even then it's
Right.
like there's no real interaction with anything.
Okay.
You're just walking around like, oh, there's a shot. Like, it may as well be a set of menus. Like,
So that's where the upgrades and all that's done in the town.
yeah,
is it?
yeah. So
Right.
you go to the shipwright or whatever to do stuff to your ship, or you get missions from people. And you get you look at the trailers and it's showing like, footage of like pirates having fights and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but that's not the game. That's
Right.
not. That's set dressing. Do you know what I mean? That's like when you're in the towns. I'm like, it's making a point of like, oh, these all these the pirates are like having a go at you and saying you're shit. And it's like, yeah, but I know they're not going to do anything because there's no melee combat in this. Nothing's going to happen. And I don't know. I just found like the dialogue really flat. It feels like an MMO because it is, right? Like, to be fair, but it's just got that MMO jank. You've got boats just fading in front of you and then sailing off and stuff, and you're just like, oh right,
Right.
there's Boner Lord 69 sailing off there.
I just wanted to play together, Sean.
I was just not. Oh, there's like you go up to a shipwreck, and you're like, right, you gotta investigate the shipwreck, and you approach it, and there's like a little mini game, like it's essentially like a lock picking mini game, but you're like crowbarring your way into the ship, and it's like all the crowbars like going up. You've got to press the trigger when it hits the green bit. It's like ding, you have to do that 4 times to break into the ship, and it's like, what is this? Oh, so strange.
Well,
It just feels so video gamey.
without there being that many reports about the game, we all felt that it had a troubled development, didn't
Yeah.
we? Even though there were no reports to confirm that.
Well, and that's what's so sad is that, like, yes, you do this intro bit, and and it's sort of impressive, and then it does this like intro cutscene where it lists all the Ubisoft studios that worked on it, and there's literally about 7 or 8 of them.
Shit.
But again, and you're watching it thinking like, God, it took this many people to bring this together to something they could actually release.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, Sean, is you're not going to go for the £100 premium edition?
Yeah, no.
What do
no,
you
I
get in the
don't think
£100 premium edition, James?
You get 2 extra missions, cosmetic items, and a smuggler pass to unlock the premium battle pass.
Okay.
So there you go.
And you get a 5th aid, didn't you?
Almost
Oh,
certainly.
Pubis made the same joke as me in the chat.
Let's stop with the A gags. We're
yeah,
done
like-
with the A gags, okay?
I
What
feel
more
like
A
even
game?
if you are into...
Shut the fuck up, Matthew. This is what gets me. The amount of people that go, "Oh, Matt's great jokes that everyone misses." That was shit.
Look, I've had a week off. I'm working up to the good
Yeah,
stuff.
he's
Fucking, can you
warming up.
take another week off, please?
It'll take even longer then.
I feel like if you're into like typical Ubisoft stuff, which is very cinematic, very like very polished, highly produced, like cool.
Did you
cutscenes
Folio in the chats just said break the other arm?
Fucking hell, did you, Folio?
Sorry, Jeff.
It was
sorry,
the
Sean.
wrist.
Sorry, Sean.
Got it right.
different. No, I don't think you're gonna get that from this. Like, I don't really know who this is for, which is a shame.
Perverts.
Yeah, probably.
No, I think there are some people that I think they're going for the people that like Black Flag. Genuinely,
Well,
I think they
That's
think
me,
there's
though.
enough
Well,
of
that's
them.
Sean, yeah.
Yeah, but you're not like a proper. You're not like an Ubisoft guy, are you?
I'm a Black Flag guy.
Yeah, but I think they're going for the Assassin's Creed lot.
But that's what I mean, though. But if you've played loads of Assassin's Creed, you'd just be like, what the fuck are these cutscenes? These
Right,
conversations are
right.
so stilted and weird, and
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I can't see it doing well this game. I'll be
No.
honest with you. But hey, we haven't played it. We've only played
Not
that.
really.
Sean's only played the open
Sean has.
beta. So let's see what that's like. It's probably going to be wank. I'm just worried that we're going to get like pseudo site. It's probably going to be shit, isn't it? Is that it for the news, James?
That is it, yeah.
It's time for what you've been playing then. I mean, we've already touched on it, but let's talk about Foamstars to start with. James and I have played Foamstars, which is the game that you may have seen on many Sony. What do they call it? What do they call their
State
ones?
of play?
State of plays or whatever.
Yeah.
And the moment you look at it, you go, "Oh, look! Someone trying to do the Splatoon thing, where it's an arena shooter where you're actually spraying foam, different color foam all over the levels." And Sean, it's exactly what you think it is. What do you think it is? You've not played it. James and I have had a few matches on it. What do you think it is?
I mean, obviously, there's the Splatoon comparison, but I mean, even from what we've seen, I did wonder if that was unfair because obviously it's not like it has like the swimming mechanic, right? It looked like you were like filling the environment with the foam rather than just coating.
You are,
surfaces
but
with it.
instead of swimming, you're just surfing on the foam.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah. It's shit. It's a shit
Really?
game. Yeah, it is.
Oh,
I
man.
don't like being really harsh on games. The idea of someone trying to do the Splatoon thing on a different platform, because obviously Nintendo, it's the only place you can play that style of shooter. So I'm not against the idea of someone trying this, but they just seem to get everything completely wrong. Like visually, it's a fucking mess. You know how when you play Splatoon, throughout all of the matches, you know exactly where you are. Like, you know exactly what the battle is, where you're supposed to be going, how you're supposed to be earning points, how you're supposed to be helping your team. You have none of that feedback visually from this game. It's just you're spraying foam everywhere. That's it.
Yeah, it really got like the end of each round. We were like, so have we won or what's happened? Because
Whereas Splatoon, you basically already know before it even
Hell
before it announces it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And you're thinking, right, let's push, stick together, push. There's so the mechanic is right. You start off with the like I can't tell you, Sean, even after playing 4 or 5 matches of this, what is more important, filling the level with foam or killing opponents?
yeah,
right?
I'm still not sure at all.
Because I think you get points for killing opponents, which you don't really get. It does like add up on Splatoon, but it doesn't count towards your team score, does it? Killing opponents. It's just that the benefit of killing opponents in Splatoon is that
it benefits you because it means your XP goes up more quickly.
Right, yeah, your XP goes
but
up,
not for the team though.
but not for the team,
apart from
right?
making it better for them.
So
obviously.
So in this, you run around spraying your foam everywhere. Then you come across one of their guys, and you're shooting them with your foam, and it's making that doo 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 sort of sound that it does in Splatoon. So it's nick that, and then when you die, you go into a big ball of foam, and you can either be saved by someone surfing into you, or you get killed if you surf into them. So you put them in the big ball of foam and you surf it. But it's really not clear who's doing what. Like it looks so ugly, the game, visually, that you're kind of like, are they dead or are they not? Is that foam, or is that a competitor that's in a ball of foam? It's so wildly confusing that you just look at it and go, what's the fucking point? What's the point?
No, okay, but what about all the characters constantly, with the one-liners and all that kind of thing?
Oh, no.
Constantly going on?
Oh, all the way through the way through the bloody game. Yeah, you get they're really irritating characters, and they're constantly talking, and you just go,
How do you build a game like this, which is clearly meant for people to put about 300 hours into,
right?
and think, yeah, that'd be good if the characters keep making quips all the time. That won't get old.
Well, but this is what confuses me the most, Sean. Is that how do you sit down and say, right, we want to do a Splatoon game. Let's do a Splatoon game so we can bring it to PlayStation, bring it to other formats. How do we get this idea and move it to other formats? Right, we don't want it to be exactly like Splatoon, so let's just miss the point completely, entirely, and just make it as irritating as possible. What's that? You finished a mission, right? Back to the arena bit, like the town, the equivalent of the town in Splatoon. It just kicks you right back there, and you just think, holy shit! Like what? You've just this is awful. This is awful. Before you start, there are 8 characters to choose from?
Yeah, which is also strange because you do the tutorial and you're playing as a character.
Yeah.
And then you go into like the main sort of lobby area, which is also not as good. Like, okay, we know we joked about the whole 30 frames thing, like with Splatoon, but at least it feels like a kind of like alive. It feels like there's things going on.
This feels like this
just
is a joke.
Totally sterile. And also like the first thing I did was I went over to one of the kiosks where it's like, oh, there's a load of microtransactions here, that you can have, so you can like spend like quite a lot of money like on stuff that you could get for your character and stuff, or change stuff. And immediately I was like, I'm not sure how I need to change the character or how you do this. Then it turns out you have to go to like another kiosk to try and do that. So you don't get like a character customizer like right from the off. It's like you have to go somewhere to try and to make this happen, which is a little bit. I mean, it's not confusing, but it's just like I don't know why. Like that was one of the things that Splatoon did really well. It's like you start the game off and it's like, this is who you are. What do you want to look like? It's like, why wouldn't you do that? I don't understand. It's strange, but yeah. And then as David said, it's like actually getting into games is like not entirely clear either. Like what's going on? It
takes ages to load into a game,
Oh, sorry, I've just remembered something else with that, which is another thing that Splatoon does really well. Sorry, I've just knocked my mic stand because I got animated.
So I'm going to actually emphasise that in the edit.
He's got animated because it was 1-1 Chelsea 1 Palace 1 until 2 minutes ago, and now it's 3-1 to Chelsea. So James is he's well happy over there.
I'm quite excited. Yes.
It's funny because before we started recording, James was saying how bad Chelsea were and they were definitely going to lose tonight.
Exactly,
like he does every time he plays anyone.
So how bad are Palace? It's like look at the statistics, Dave. Anyway,
the whole thing, £1 billion well spent.
Yeah, beat Palace. Anyway, so the other thing about it is that like in Splatoon, you have like the loading. When you're waiting for a game to start, you're in that sort of like little sort of training area, and there's stuff to kind of do in there. Like you can shoot stuff, make things explode, all that kind of thing. There's nothing to do in this, so you're just sort of just standing around, being like, well, okay, I'll wait for the minute or whatever countdown. And it's like, I don't know, if it had some targets to shoot out or something, that would be something, And all there was there's an area where you can sort of flood with foam if you want to, but that's about it. There's not really much else to do. And the other thing that this was one of your ideas, David, which they should have had in here, and I don't know why they don't, is that the part of the traversal is that you can like use this like surfboard, to like surf over the foam and stuff. But you can't like do tricks or anything like that.
Yeah, it feels
and
like you should be able to do Tony Hawk style tricks on it to like get points or whatever, but you just can't. So you just sort of like, it is literally just, you're not swimming, you're surfing. That'll do. which again defeats the point because part of the good thing about swimming in Splatoon is that you're not visible. Whereas like now you are totally visible, like it's totally clear where you are. It just gets everything wrong that it shouldn't get wrong. And if you're sitting there with a PlayStation 5 and a PS Plus subscription, because this is available on PS Plus this month, and you're going, well, I want to play something a bit like Splatoon, I would say, well, instead of downloading that's included, go and buy a Switch and buy Splatoon. But that's hundreds of pounds. Yeah, but it's hundreds of pounds better than this. So, this is not an equivalent. This isn't something that you should go to and think, oh, I want to play a Splatoon style game for the first time. Just don't. It's not very good at all. I hated it. Like, I actually hated it. I'm never going to play again.
What a
No,
shame.
I as soon as we...
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a shame because I think it would be good to get a game like that on a different system. This is not it. This totally gets it wrong.
I mean, we finished playing, quit out, and just deleted it straight away. I was like, I'm never going to touch this ever again. It's it was disappointing.
Do you ever do that? And it's like I hope the developers feel this. When I delete it. I hope someone goes like, oh fuck, oh ow, that was.
Yeah. It would be nice if a little ticker come up on the screen and how many people have deleted your game, and then it just goes up one. It'd be like one of those big flapping.
I mean, that
things,
probably
like
is
from the
like
start of a day on Groundhog Day.
That probably is a metric they have access to, right? Like how many
Yeah.
people played it for 10 minutes and then just never again. You can assume they deleted it.
Yeah, and knowing the shit games that James has played to 100% and seeing that he's deleted that game,
Even this I couldn't bring myself to persist with.
It's not the only new game we've played this week, though. I think so. Myself, Sean. Oh, you haven't played it, James. That's all you played. Foamstars.
That I've played nothing else apart from Foamstars.
Okay.
This month.
What a week.
Yeah. This week, love it. Yeah.
I've written down here Helldivers 22, but what I meant is Helldivers.
You got early
2.
access.
You have to play the other 21 to know the story.
All right, shut up. I have only done the first 2 missions because this came out just before I went on holiday, and I haven't had the chance to play anymore.
Fair enough.
But I can already tell that it's got a lot of potential. It's going to be really good fun.
Well, this is it. It's a funny one because potential is the word. Because it's had a funny old launch week in that
How do you mean?
It's done insanely well, but had loads of bugs, server capacity issues.
That's what you're shooting, isn't it? Eh?
Hey, and it's clearly really good. It's just been and the devs have been amazing. They've been like firing out patches every day and stuff. Like things have already improved a lot. But yeah, initially, because I was thinking like, oh fuck, because obviously we've had the ongoing sort of I keep saying it's going to be good, and I didn't seem as convinced, and I was just like, fuck me, if Dave plays this on launch day, he's going to hate it because like just matchmaking wasn't working. I should explain what it is and why this stuff is important. It's a co-op third-person shooter. If you haven't seen the trailers and stuff, it's very clearly heavily ripping from Starship Troopers in that it's you're part of this intergalactic army where you're constantly being fed this propaganda, right, about like, these alien bugs are threatening our way of life. You are very clearly just going to their planets and destroying their shit, right?
It's not even trying to be clever, is it? I mean, you literally, one of your objectives is to raise the flag and salute it as it's going up. It's so
well, this is it, because the humour in it could run the risk of becoming very one note, and it does a bit like some of the call outs when you're shooting bugs and you guys shouting like have a taste of democracy or whatever.
That gets a bit
for like the 50th time that starts but like the tutorial when it's like teaching you how to heal yourself, and it's like, walk up to the injury simulator, and you're like, okay, and you push the button, this spike just goes into your chest.
Yeah, that was quite funny. I also loved how during the tutorial, every new area that you walk into, it says that the guy goes, right now, this is the real deal. Yeah. Like every time you do it, it's a grenade throwing bit, and then you go and pick up a gun. Right, okay, soldier, this is the real deal. It just made me laugh every time. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, there's some genuinely like really smart writing and stuff, and But yeah, basically the whole thing is, yes, you've been sent down onto these planets. You've got objectives. You've got your main objective, which is usually like take out a load of bug eggs or secure like a hard drive that's got sensitive data on it or whatever. And then there'll be like side objectives as well. So obviously all you have to do is the main objective, but if you're feeling confident, you go for the side stuff as well. You can earn more resources and stuff. The other thing is that you have these what they call stratagems. So obviously you're soldier, you'll have a machine gun and a pistol and some grenades or whatever, but you can call in like airdrops. So you hold the left bumper and you have to like tap in like sequences on the D-pad. And then you like throw a little
I
marker.
don't know how I feel about that. Are they random or are they always the same?
Oh, they're always the same.
Okay,
Yeah,
always the
so
same.
you can learn them.
Yeah, because it feels like eventually you'll end up, especially recalling a teammate is such a big one to do. That knowing that off by heart would be really helpful.
It's interesting because when the first Helldivers came out, that was quite soon after Magicka came. So the same developers made this game Magicka, where it was. To look at it, it was like, oh, it's like a top-down like fantasy RPG. But the joke was like it was actually an action game, and to do the magic spells in it, you were learning all these button combinations, right?
Right.
And you could very easily get your mates killed and stuff. So when Helldivers 1 came out, it's like, oh, it's sci-fi Magicka basically.
Oh, okay.
But Magicka was that long ago now that I don't think people are going to necessarily draw that comparison anymore. So so you might look at this now and be like, well, why am I tapping out these combinations? Whereas previously it just felt like an obvious evolution of something else. So yeah, you got to tap these combinations out. You might get them wrong because you're panicking because there's bugs coming at you or whatever. And also, it's very easy to get your mates killed either by dropping stuff on them. You can call in airstrikes and then maybe realize one of your mates has like wandered over to it by accident, and you're like, get out of the way, he's gonna.
I just shot John in the head.
Did you?
Yeah. He was running away from some bugs and he ran across the line of fire and just killed him. He was like,
it's easily done. Which, when you're playing with mates, is all part of the fun.
Right.
Not so funny when you're playing with randoms.
Right.
That said, playing with randoms has been mostly okay. I've not come across any like genuine like idiots yet. I had one guy the day after it came out. We did a mission where we just like went straight to the objective, and then someone called for the evac, and then we left. And this guy was in the text chat going like, "Oh, who the fuck called the evacs? Like, we didn't go for any bonus objectives. But like, oh, you're all noobs." And the guy hosting the session just said, "The game came out yesterday, mate," and blocked him. So that was good. Yeah, randoms have been okay, but it's not as the tension of it isn't as enjoyable unless you're playing with mates. So the fact that the servers were being weird for a good few days was a real shame, and especially like trying to play on your own, forget it. I know we always say, when there's a co-op game, it's always like, people say, oh, is it worth playing on my own? And we kind of go, yeah, it's not as good, but no, do not play this on your own. It's a bad time.
No, it feels like that sort of game. I mean, it felt a bit like, so we only played 2 players, and it felt like, it needs more than this.
Yeah.
It feels like you need a full team of 4, right? It's 4 players, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. But yeah, when you get a squad of 4 people and the difficulty starts creeping up, because it's pretty trivial to begin with, it's pretty straightforward. But once it starts getting tough, and like I say, you're in that sort of enjoyable tension where you're all kind of stressing a little bit, but you're calling stuff out to each other, you're helping each other out. Like one person's got a backpack with all supply packs, and they're running around to everyone, here's some fucking ammo, here's some health kit. So all that stuff.
Does this require a lot of teamwork then?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, it's all about teamwork and like coordination. I mean, the tools it gives you, like it's got the the sort of pinging mechanic, so you can point at something and it'll sort of intelligently go like, oh well, that's an enemy, so you're telling everyone to attack that enemy, or you can mark stuff on the map or what have you. So the tools are there. Like if you haven't got voice comms or you're not playing with friends, tools are there to sort of enable that stuff. But it's always going to be better with mates, right? But yeah, it's had this like insane opening weekend. It's been like a major event, which I really wasn't expecting. I mean, it's had quite a heavy push, like 'cause it is a PlayStation Studios game. It was made by Arrowhead, but it's published by PlayStation. So I guess it's benefited from marketing there quite a lot. But yeah, it's been really nice seeing it blow up, but also a shame because clearly the devs are like exhausted. Like I think like one of the last updates was like, we are going to do another patch, but please, we need to get some sleep. Like, which is like you reading that's like, yeah, that's not a joke. They are actually probably absolutely exhausted. So yeah, it's a bit of a watch this space. Like Dave, I do really want to play it with you at some point if we can make that
Yeah,
work.
we'll definitely get
Apparently it's
something
got
going,
cross play, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll
But
definitely get something going because I don't know many people that have got it, and I want to play more of it for sure.
Yeah. The ship name stuff.
Oh God! so after you do the tutorial, you get to name your ship, and it's like a list of words, and then
It's the Animal Crossing thing, isn't it?
yeah, it's
Where
the
your
Animal Crossing
name of your
thing.
ship can be like there's like one list of words of and another list of words.
What did you go with? I spent ages looking for a good combination.
I went with Fist of Peace.
Fist of Peace was Sean's, and mine
Well,
was
because loads of people, like, you sort of think, oh man, this is going to be amazing because I'm going to join like randoms, I'm going to see all their funny ship names. But then loads of people just have like sort of sincere, like Sword of Justice or whatever. You know,
Oh, really?
that's not me.
yeah,
Go on, Dave, yours is good.
Mine was the Judge of Judgment. I was quite happy with that one.
I nearly went with the Fist of Family Values, but
That's
Piece
quite
was
good.
a bit more concise. Loads
Yeah.
of little stuff like that's funny. Oh, microtransactions, bit gross.
I didn't see much of it. What is the microtransaction
Well,
stuff?
so basically, it's got a battle pass. So there's a free battle pass track, and then there's a paid for one, which is not unusual. But it's like a 35 quid game, and to have that on launch day, it's like, all right, guys,
Yeah.
like stop trying to make me buy more stuff like immediately. And then there's like a paid for.
But what sort of stuff is it?
currency.
What do you unlock?
It's
like
well,
outfits and that?
That's the thing. So there's a shop where you can directly buy like paid for stuff, but that's just cosmetic armor stuff, I think. But in the paid battle pass, there are like variants on the weapons. So there'll be like, this is the machine gun you've already got, but the bullets explode. But it's like a slower rate. Like it's always a trade-off, but you always look at it and like, oh, it does sound quite cool, actually, rather than it being purely cosmetic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a shame. But then also I'm like, well, I'm really enjoying it, so maybe do I just pay up? Don't know.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? I mean, I've known many people that have bought battle passes for games straight away and then regretted it because it's like eventually everyone stops playing it. So all the cosmetic stuff you've bought actually means nothing because you're playing the game on your Todd. Yeah, I don't know. I want to play more of it. I haven't got too much to say on that game because I haven't played enough, but I will get to it throughout the week. Just before we finish up with Sean's games, I finished Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Oh, nice.
Over the weekend. Yeah, it's good. I'm interested, James. If you were reviewing it, what would you give it?
7 out of 10 probably.
Oh, I would have gone 8.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I think the combat and the traversal is actually worthy of that extra point. I can see why you give it a 7, but I would give it closer to an 8. I think the ending really lets it down, actually, like the last bit of it, because you get to the ending and you go, oh, you really sort of thought the story was great here, and I sort of just gave up giving a shit about any of the characters, like about 3/4 of the way through, maybe even halfway through, and also like it ends on a boss fight, and you just go, kind of feels like maybe it shouldn't have, and maybe it should have gone in a different direction, There are Celeste-esque moments in this game without a shadow of a doubt, and I just thought actually climbing to somewhere would have been a much better ending than having a fucking boss battle. So, but overall, really good game. I thought it was really good. Just don't think it quite made it to the top end. Like, it's one of those where you play it and you go, oh, this could possibly make Game of the Year discussions, but it's never going to be Game of the Year. Like that's the feeling I get from that game.
I certainly haven't really thought about it since I finished it.
That's it. And I've finished it now and I'm done. I've got no interest in going back to it. And I will say this as well. Performance issues on the Switch got worse and worse as the game went on. Like, I am absolutely blown away that Digital Foundry were like, oh no, I can't really tell there are so many performance problems towards the end of this game.
Yeah, because I kept even after we talked about it on the show, I kept seeing people being like, oh yeah, it's absolutely flawless on the Switch.
It's not flawless on the Switch at all. I mean, I should have taken more videos just to show you, but it was honestly towards the end, you were just like, fuck me. Look at even in boss fights and stuff, you're like, this is like hanging for a good second or two at this point. Yeah, it was really annoying.
Shame.
But okay. All right, that's that. Matt, you've not played anything. because you've been busy breaking
Correct.
bones.
Breaking bones.
I
Living,
mean,
doing
real
labs.
talk. Are you going to be able to play anything for a while, Matt? Are you going to?
Oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
get all that.
Plan.
Well, these are the games you can play one-handed.
I mean,
Sounds
I'm
like
hoping
one
he's
mate.
just going to play tons of mobile, like free-to-play
Yeah,
mobile
yeah,
games.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got time. I downloaded Rebirth because I wanted to play that trailer, but I haven't had a chance to even give it a go. But I don't know. I mean, who knows? Who knows anymore?
Who knows? Sean, what other games have you got for us this week?
Hello. So I have been playing Ultros, which is out. Well, yesterday, if you're listening to the podcast, it came out or comes out on the 13th. This was a rare managed to actually blag a code situation because I was already really excited about this game just going off the trailers and like bits of the soundtrack that they'd released. If you've not seen this game, you need to just Google it because certainly like the first thing you need to talk about with this game is the visuals. Like it looks unbelievable to the point that like gameplay wise it might actually irritate some people, right? Because
Oh, you
it's like
think?
the visual style is just so busy. It's a Metroidvania, it's 2D Metroidvania. But the lead for the art team was El Huervo, who did like a bunch of the art for Hotline Miami, but he's
Right.
also celebrated artist in his own right. And it's all just like so vibrant and bold and neon, and it looks incredible. But if someone played this and was like, I can't tell what's going on, there's too much shit on the screen, I disagree, but I get it, right? There are like accessibility options to sort of mitigate that. You can like blur out the background a bit or like desaturate it, but obviously that immediately feels like a shame because you're losing the detail of like all this beautiful artwork. So I don't know, your mileage may vary, but it does look incredible. And obviously part of me was like, do I need another Metroidvania? I'm still only like a few hours into Prince of Persia. Go on, James.
I'm hoping you're going to tell me that this isn't very good and that
Well,
I
have you
don't
not
need
seen
to
the
be bothered.
reviews? It's getting
Yeah.
Got some
nines
bad news
everywhere
for you,
this week.
James.
The reviews are very good.
It's stunning. It's
I might have to do this later.
no,
I can't do
stunning's not the right word. It's like played a lot of Metroidvanias. I've never played one quite like this. The structure of it is
James's
weird,
face.
and it's obviously I'm going to be dancing around spoilers, but obviously, but also I think I'm like 12, 13 hours in, so I don't know everything that happens yet. But structurally, it's fascinating because it starts off very typical. You wake up on this like space station, right? And you're sort of making your way around, and like you find a sword, you start killing some baddies. It introduces like this cool combat stuff where when you kill enemies, you get some of their body parts, which you can then eat, and that's how you raise these sort of different types of like resource bars, and then that's how you buy new abilities, right?
Right.
And basically, the more you vary your attacks when you kill an enemy, the better the body parts you get out of them, right? So if you just run up to an enemy and just keep mashing the attack button over and over and over, you'll get bloody pulp, as it calls it, which is shit, right? You get like a tiny bit of resources out of it, and it's shite. But if you like get one combo in, and then the enemy tries to attack you, and you dash past it, and you get a counter in, and then you jump, and then you do a diving kick on it, then you get like perfect, like a perfect bit of food out of it. It's weird. There's all different like body parts and stuff you get out of them. It's gross, but it's a very cool system. It's very satisfying to like get your head around that. I mean, like, right, if I get more efficient with the combat, it's going to be like more quickly unlocking new moves and stuff. So it introduces that, and you're like, cool, that's quite interesting. And then it sort of very briefly touches upon this whole like gardening system, right? Which and like you meet this guy who's just called the gardener, and he's like, hey, here's a seed, like here's a bit of fertile ground, chuck it in, see what happens. And you do, and it grows this little tree, which also grows some fruit which you can eat, and then that increases your stats and stuff. And you're like, okay, that seems fine. And then you fight a boss, and then you kill the boss, and then the whole thing resets. You go back to the start, and you're like, what the fuck? What? Like, this is the first sort of 30-40 minutes, so not spoilers by any means. But straight away you're then like, right, the things I planted have already got fruit on them. So I'm eating those and I'm unlocking abilities way quicker than I did on the first run. And also, some of those plants that I've planted have grown a bit and are opening up new routes. There's new directions I can go in because like this one tree that had grown a bit is now a bit taller and has like a platform on the top of it, and I can jump on that and get somewhere
Oh, right.
else.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So whenever it restarts, which it does a lot, it's by design, and it's the map stays the same. You always keep your map, whatever you've discovered, but all your abilities reset, and you start off without the sword, and initially you can't do combat and stuff. But again, like the route to the sword gets much quicker, and like I say, you get much better at unlocking your abilities sooner. But then you also get items that like let you sort of pin certain abilities, so you won't lose them when it restarts.
Yeah.
So you mark like a couple of your favorites out, so you know the sort of the toolkit you're starting with the next time. And yeah, it's again dancing around spoilers, but you keep going through, you keep fighting bosses, and you're growing more stuff. And the story, I haven't made any sense out of it yet, other than this ship was built to give birth to this evil being called Ultros, right? And that's so every time you kill a boss, that's what sets Ultros off. So an Ultros gets born, and it goes, and then it rewinds. And so part of you is like, well, am I supposed to be killing the bosses then? And then you sort of think, I'm choosing to pick up the sword every time I respawn, and I don't know where it's going, but part of me is like, oh, is this a thing that like there's gonna be like the way to actually do it is like a pacifist run or something? I don't know.
Right.
But it's just cool that you start thinking about this stuff, and then as you go through the game, you start getting other tools and stuff, so you start being able to like uproot existing plants, right? And then then you take your seeds, add them to your inventory. So you might have, there's like a plant where it creates like it's like golden, like a wheat field almost, and that gives you super speed as you're running through it, or lets you run up walls and stuff. So you might be like, right, I'm going to go here, get some of the golden wheat shit, and then if I take that to this other bit of the map, plant it here, grow it, by the next cycle it'll be massive, and then I can go here and do this. And you start planning things like several like resets ahead.
Yeah, like runs.
Yeah, like, and it's fascinating, and it is weird and it's confusing, but if you just go with it, like it holds your hand just enough that like every time you start a new run, you'll bump into like the same characters, but they might they'd say something slightly different, introduce you to a new concept or something you hadn't considered before, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, that's a really good idea actually. And yeah, I'm finding it absolutely fascinating. Like I really love it. Like the fact that like the combat's really good, and then after a bit you're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be fighting. I'm not sure quite where this is going. And I really love it. The soundtrack is absolutely sublime. Like I mentioned, I'd been sort of getting obsessed. They'd released like a couple of tracks. Huh?
That's the other thing, is like a thing, because it's like that was one of the things that disappointed me the most about Prince of Persia, was it's not the soundtrack's really totally forgettable, and one of the best things, as we've said so many times from Hollow Knight, was how good that soundtrack was and what an atmosphere it created. And if this is on that sort of level, then
it really is. Like the soundtrack is just absolutely stunning. It's the same guy who did the soundtrack to The Gunk, which I think Dave and I agreed probably we would have liked that game to be a bit better, but I adored the soundtrack.
Yeah.
This is a bit more because the Gunk soundtrack was very, very ambient, whereas this is a bit more in your face. There's but there's like really cool sort of orchestral or like cello stuff, but then with like it's like really cool like drum loops and stuff. It's a bit sort of late 90s, early noughties sort of trip hop DJ Shadow sort of stuff. It's really good. Really fucking good. Yeah, I love it.
How far into it do you think you're nearing some sort of conclusion, or what's the deal there?
Well, see, again, this is the thing. So I think I've got like 3 bosses left out of 8.
Oh wow!
But going back to those bosses, I think I'm supposed to be doing something other than fighting them. So it's like I've done them, but I think even once I've killed them all, I think like another layer to it is going to reveal itself.
Yeah.
And again, sorry for everyone listening if this is frustrating. It's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I don't want to ruin it. It's just, it's like it's probably not better than Hollow Knight, but it is the most interesting Metroidvania I've played in years.
Oh, wow.
Well, the fact it feels like a roguelike Metroidvania as well.
Yeah,
with the runs,
yeah.
run aspect and moving the.
I know what you mean, though, James. I am totally with you. I'm like, you know, everyone was raving about Prince of Persia, and I played it, and it was a good game. But I'm kind of like, oh god, yeah, it's a Metroidvania. Well, there's something about Metroidvania games that obviously is good when you're playing it, but the thought about starting a new one is what always
daunting,
gets
isn't
you.
it?
Well, it's always like, I know I'm going to walk past doors that I can't open, and I know I'm going to do it, and it's like, okay, come on. And it's that stuff, isn't it? It's the build-up in Metroidvania games. Sometimes it's so slow and frustrating, but it sounds like this kind of doesn't do that.
This gives you the double jump really early on.
That's important.
I'm just
Pretty sure.
Fucking right at the end of Prince of Persia. It's like, what the fuck?
I think because that's the other thing is so all these abilities that you unlock by eating food and then spending it on this sort of menu. So none of those are essential to progression.
Right.
That's another thing they've done on purpose. So the double jump is separate to that sort of skill tree. So yeah, again, it's cool. That's like, well, there's all these things that are useful, but none of them are actually like gating progress.
Is it what's the difficulty like?
It's been fine. I've only died like a couple of times.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it's like you have to pay attention during the bosses for sure. There's like sometimes they'll like if they've got a shield, you have to do a strong attack to break that before you can hurt them, or and you can like deflect stuff. It's one weird thing. It's got Guacamole had the thing where like if you hit an enemy when it's in like a certain state, you can then like knock it in any direction and then it bashes into it. It's got that, but it doesn't use it enough. It's kind of like they put it in because they saw it in Guacamole and then didn't do enough with it. Yeah, which is kind of a shame, but whatever. Yeah, really, really like it.
Cool.
It looks stunning. I bet it looks. Yeah. So you're playing on. What are you playing on?
So I'm playing it on the deck, but mostly plugged into the telly.
Right. I was gonna say because this look amazing on PlayStation or massive TV and or on Perfect for Portal.
Yeah. Hashtag Perfect for Portal.
Yeah. With like all the colours stuff I'm seeing now and like this post I'm seeing on the PlayStation block, it just looks incredible.
Yeah.
Someone's grassing you up, James.
Yeah, I know.
Want you to? Oh, you do know, dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. James has just been texted away to someone throughout for the past 20 minutes.
Unbelievable.
Well, I don't know what I don't want to mention who the grass
I knew
is.
that. I thought that might happen. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because no, I'm not saying.
I'm just going to reply. Makes sense. Sean is doing what you've been playing.
I was going to get worse. I'm going to do SteamNextFest now. I will try and be brief. This is just a few.
No, don't be brief.
Get a few more messages in there.
Actually, it's only been an hour and a half. I thought we'd be.
Yeah, no, it feels like we've been.
Just because James has switched off doesn't mean you need to.
I'm not switched off. I just
bored.
No, go on. What?
So SteamNextFest has been on. Obviously, there's fucking hundreds of demos. No one can play them all, but here's a few I enjoyed. So I played Balatro, which, Dave, we found a roguelike deck builder that you would like because it's poker themed.
Wait, hold on.
I can really just start doing other stuff now, right?
Who's we?
Yeah, it's a roguelike deck builder, but it's based on initially it's based on a traditional, set of cards, and when you basically every turn you're just creating poker hands. So the idea is you're trying to generate like a certain number of chips, right, which are just points, and different poker hands are worth different amounts. So every turn it's like, right, here's your hand of cards, pick 5 cards to make a poker hand, right? So you're trying to squeeze the maximum value out of that. Where it gets weird is you start unlocking like jokers, which might be like, right, every time you play spades, you get a multiplier goes up by 1. Right, and it starts getting really silly.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, you start combining all these weird effects, and then you'll finish one level, and it's like, right, now you can lock some new cards. Do you want to open a tarot pack or a celestial pack? And you're just like, what are these? Why? What's happening? And it's just all these weird and wonderful different kinds of cards with all different effects and stuff. It's really good. This is coming out on everything, seemingly.
Yeah. I'm just looking now. Switch, PlayStation 5, Microsoft Windows.
It'd be perfect on Switch. 100%. Well worth a look.
It does look good, actually. I like the idea of combining poker hands with modifiers on there seems like a really
because
cool idea.
Because initially you look at it and it's like, oh, but I've played loads of these games. Why would I be interested in one that just uses normal cards? It's like, oh no, 5 minutes in, no, this is really fucking fun. Actually, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
I also played Space Trucker, which does anyone want to guess what this game's about?
Is it a deck builder?
No,
Is it delivering things in
delivery
space?
thing around space.
It's about delivering stuff in space. Very good.
Yes.
Via a deck of cards?
James,
Why?
why do you let yourself down when you
Why have you done this? Why have you done this, James?
You expose yourself.
Is it a roguelike?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's basically like any of your truck simulators, but it's a big spaceship instead, but still basically looks like a truck, which makes no sense, but I'm fine with it. Really enjoyable, just really chill. Like it's so slow and cumbersome, but you're just like, good. I like this.
So
I like
chill.
picking up a bit of cargo and then
So
being like, right, it's
addictive.
going to take me 10 minutes to just drive over there. You can like fuck around, like you can look around your cockpit. There's all different levers and buttons and switches that do various things, and there's like the radio you can turn on and off. And then like crucially, like if you bash into stuff or stuff goes wrong with your equipment, you have to get out your chair, find like power cells dotted around or whatever, and like replace stuff, fix stuff. Sometimes you've got to put your spacesuit on, get outside, and like patch stuff up. Incredibly chill and really
what
good
hazards
fun.
Please stream this. This is great.
It would be a really good streamer, actually. Yeah. 100%.
What are the hazards on the way?
There's just like debris hanging around, like the way you your
They're
truck
that's
handles.
what I'm getting at. Are there aliens?
There's, as far as I'm aware, no aliens.
Shame.
I don't know if there's a
DLC.
story. There's like a bit where like some other truckers start chatting on the CB radio, and you grab the receiver and like start. You have like a couple of dialogue options, and it's like, oh, I wonder where this is going. Obviously, the demo gives nothing away. Really enjoyed that.
That looks great.
Played the demo of Halibut, which I've been excited for a while. It's been in development for like 10
That's
years.
what
or
I'm going to be
something.
calling my son from now on.
Do you know, it really this sounds like a Euro platformer from like the 90s.
It does, to be fair. But it's not technically point and click because you directly control the character with the stick, but it basically it looks and plays more or less like a point and click adventure game. But the setting is basically this spaceship left Earth because Earth was dying, and then it flew through space for like 1,000 years or whatever, and then essentially crash landed on this planet that's just a massive ball of water, and got stuck. And now everyone just lives on this ship, and they're sort of a bit depressed and weird, and it's like I can't remember. I don't know what the actual like overall plot is, but the demo is very much you're like this sort of lowly engineer who keeps getting into trouble because he keeps like forgetting to buy the right travel pass to get around the station, and you do sort of basic jobs and stuff. And it's a weird one. Like I would recommend checking out the demo, but I don't think it's as funny as it needs to be to justify the fact that you are just kind of walking around talking to people and pushing buttons.
Right.
But it looks incredible. Like,
I'm watching a trailer now. It looks
is wild, isn't
Yeah,
it?
stop
like
motion, plasticine.
well, kind of, but it's sort of stop motion, but it's it's like full 60 frames, so it doesn't have the sort of jerky movement. But yeah, they look like these real like painted
Plasticine models.
Yeah. Like, it
yeah.
looks fucking real. Like, so yeah, super impressed. Just I hope the story picks up a bit. Because I say what I played of the demo was fine, but I was like, this needs to be a bit more funny or a bit more interesting. But I don't know, we'll see.
This is coming out on other stuff as well.
Yeah. And then the last one was Islands of Insight, which is this one. I think it was on like a.
Honestly, it
on an
sounds
Xbox
like Atari STE game. That title is dreadful. Islands of Insight.
Well, it's weird, right? Because the title's bad and the setting is weird.
It's like, do you remember when you were a kid and you had like Atari or whatever, and then you go, oh yeah, what are you playing? Oh, I'm playing Lemmings. I'm playing, this. I'm playing that. But my dad plays Islands of Insight. Does he? Yeah, he's stuck at the gate. Doesn't know where to go.
And
Yeah, it does look like a sort of like a mist. Like kind of
well, this
game.
is it, because it is
totally.
literally like, right, here's a series of like floating islands in the sky, and they've got puzzles on them. Off you go it's just an endless, like, here's a bit of dopamine, here's another bit of, oh, you link these two boxes together, here's another bit of dopamine, oh, you've aligned these rings so you look, it's like...
They're not supposed to say that in the game.
It is just like like you're just walking around this environment and there's just endless things to like look at or click on and be like, oh right, actually, yeah, if put that there, that'll do this, and brilliant. And
is this like The Witness at all?
It looks very witnessy from the trailer I'm watching now.
Yes, but where The Witness sort of, I mean, I suppose like having those those panels were sort of artificial in a way, but this is extra like, oh, this is just a tile matching puzzle that's floating in midair for no reason other than
Right.
to go, here you
It's
go.
good. Not
do a
got the
puzzle.
subtlety of The Witness.
Yeah, there's like the artificiality of it is just ridiculous, which I'm absolutely fine with. But it looks like it kind of tries to have a story, and it's like, no, you don't need. Just go. You like puzzles, don't you, idiot? Here you go. Fucking and like, yeah, you'll be sort of solving some puzzles, and then you'll realize there's like some sort of hidden stuff. There's like these archways that are sort of like sort of camouflage, like Predator style, and you're like, oh shit, is that an archway? And then you run over it, and it goes, yeah, you got an archway, well done. And you're like, yes, I do feel good, thank you. It's just this constant like little like rewards for doing stuff, and then and sort of as you solve puzzles, you like unlock. There's like a skill tree, and you're unlocking like traversal mechanics. So it's like, right, now you got double jump, and it's like, well, it's not a platform. What use is a double jump? And then you realise that can get you to certain places that will give you the right perspective. Like, there's some like perspective-based puzzles, and you're like, oh shit, right, I'm going to stand up here. I can link these two boxes together. Yeah, it's weird how, as I say, you're in this world and you're solving these puzzles, and sometimes the world is relevant, but often you're just like, this is just a series of puzzles. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's weird, but it's well worth a look.
Okay, and that is PC only, is it?
I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. No, that's the other thing. It's like online as well. There's other people running around, but I don't know why.
Really?
I think there was mention of like, oh, like, you can like work alongside other people. Whereas I'm like, no, get off my puzzles. I want the puzzles for me. I want to solve them. Go away.
Yeah, at the moment, the website just lists Steam being able to wishlist this from tomorrow as we're recording, so Tuesday, if you're listening to the pod.
Could you imagine if you paid for an escape room and then you walked in there and there was another group of people in there? You were like,
no, they're gonna help you out. I don't want them to. Paid 30 quid for this.
the other group of people was James Farley and his work friends.
But then you get in there and you actually realise there's another puzzle someone discovers that requires 8 people. And you're like, oh, hang on, shit, it was all
Yeah, what you do is you take James Farley and you slot him into like this James Farley shaped hole.
Yeah, it's like we need you're the exact person we need. You're the key.
No, you're the
key
just
shape.
spend the whole time annoying Sean by bringing in tools that you're not supposed to have.
Oh god, I'll never
would
forget
annoy me,
that when we
to be
had.
fair.
I don't know if that come across in that podcast, but when we did an escape room together, and James was like, "I'll just use the torch on my phone." No, James, because we haven't got a torch yet. Yes, we have. It's on my phone.
It's on my phone here.
You're breaking the narrative
be a bit
of the
where you
room.
need a torch, but you end up sequence breaking it by using your own shit.
What was great?
the
What was
problem.
great is that you made this whole big point, and then we found a torch, and you went, and now we can use the torch.
Don't see what's wrong with that. I think that's absolutely fine.
That's right. Oh dear. Okay.
Shall we move on to questions?
Yeah, let's do questions.
Yeah. If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Josh Shields says, recently there's been some internet noise about, quote, yellow paint in games, specifically this week in Final Fantasy VII Retread. Ooh, shots fired.
Use.
And the idea of having to have obtrusive signposting in games. As someone who is notorious for not getting bits in games, a standout being the feather breathing in Celeste, causing me to hard reset my Xbox, as I assumed the cutscene had failed before having to go to a guide to figure it out. A wee bit of yellow helps me a lot. Are gamers now more impatient, or is there a problem with high fidelity and level design, and what games have you hopelessly got lost in due to a game's design?
Right. I have got a lot to say about this. So those of you that don't know what we're talking about, yellow paint, I think, does it come from Uncharted? Is that when it was first
possibly
becoming a big thing?
I mean, I think a lot of that, like Mirror's Edge had the red, but yeah, the yellow specifically.
Yeah, well, the yellow paint was
must be,
specifically from a game. I think it was Uncharted or it was Tomb Raider. I can't remember. But there was a big thing in games criticism where it was like, oh yeah, you're you're in this forest and you're trying to climb to this bit here, but everything that you can climb on has this yellow edging to it. So it's kind of like, it removes the whole. Honestly, I don't. Shut up. Just I would much rather have that than not have it. Do you know what I mean? Because there's nothing more infuriating to me than in an action game like that not knowing where to go next. There's nothing worse. Like it. Honestly, it makes my chest like tighten when I'm like, I don't know where to go, and this is doing my nutting.
But then surely the counter argument is like, yeah, but that's just bad design. Like there are ways of signposting things that aren't like big fucking arrows go this way.
Right, but if there are ways of signposting that tends to come to the forefront. You know, the whole follow the light thing had been a notable thing for a while, and I think, do you know what? Am I a real big arsehole? I guess I am, because I do think people come out with this nonsense as a complaint because they think it makes them look smarter. Look, I've noticed that this is how games are designed. Yeah, well done, mate. So's everyone else, but it's better than fucking getting lost in the middle of a level for 10 minutes.
Do you not find it a bit immersion breaking?
No, I think
that
game
can go
like
both
that.
ways, because obviously the other immersion breaking thing is standing around for 10 minutes going, where the fuck do I go?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
also immersion breaking.
Yeah,
but in terms of world
absolutely
design,
no,
like,
I don't. I think, you know, if there was an option in a game to turn the yellow paint off, I get that, but don't turn it off by default. Like
I mean, they did that with the Horizon games, like whereby you could have it switched on or not, where it would where it would show you basically where you could climb,
where you can climb,
and where you couldn't. You know, like as in, but then you could also switch that off if you wanted to, and then explore for yourself. But I'm with you on this, David, because I think, especially nowadays where there's not so much time to like play stuff and everything, it feels just, I don't want to spend ages getting lost, because it's like I haven't got much time, and it's just.
I guess some people do, and we're only offering our personal point of view. I'm sure there are people that listen to this that really don't want to be shown where to go, and they love, as you say, they do find it more immersion breaking to me. Of course, when I'm playing those games, I'm kind of like, it's funny how there's this paint everywhere, you know. But at the same time, when I think of the alternative, I just think you're totally right, Matt. I would find it more immersion breaking if I'm standing in a level looking around going, I don't know where to go. I'm just going to jump against things until my character grabs hold of
that's
something.
way worse. And it doesn't bother me in the slightest, because also I see it so often. That's just like, okay, brilliant, that I know that's where to go. It doesn't make me think, oh god, they've ruined it. Like, because I'm not going to spend hours wondering where to go when I know this is just the way. I just don't think about it. And I think I saw other people point out the fact, great for accessibility as well. People with like low eyesight, etc. Like this is great, for those people as well. So I mean, it's just people kicking off, I think, for no reason. Yes, okay, maybe is it the yellow? Should we change the color? Like, what's the issue?
Well, I think
exactly.
it's like, I think either way it can be done well or done badly. Right?
Yeah,
I think there's
you're
definitely
right.
there's games that do the yellow paint much worse, but then you say like something like Mirror's Edge, it's essentially the same thing, but it does it in a way that
it was
feels a lot more
stylized, it
natural
was
and-
felt part of the world. Yeah.
But then equally, I think there are games that manage to go without that stuff and do it really well. Like Valve are incredible at that. Like playing Half-Life Alyx, you can look at a scene and be like, "Oh, I need to go through that door," and I don't know why, but that's where I'm going, and that's like it's constant without that signposting. But again, the consequences of and I think that's really hard to do. So I'm not saying like, oh, all devs should just get better at doing that, because I think it must be really difficult. But yeah, the consequences of trying to do that and getting it wrong are way worse. Let's say, because then you just get the frustration of being lost or what have you.
Yeah, you're right. There is more subtle ways of doing it. Maybe yellow paint on the edge of every fucking ledge isn't the way to go, but I don't care about it that much. Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, at least I know where I'm supposed to be going. That's fine. Happy with that. But yeah, if there was an argument to say, well, why can't we just turn that off? Then maybe there should be that option,
I suppose making it optional then, but then that gives the developers both problems, right? Because it's like,
yes,
then you're having
You
to
still
do
have
both
to find a
approaches
way
well,
of making obvious that these are the places you can climb and these are the places you won't climb. Maybe it's like textured, untextured. I mean, is that what one of the Tomb Raider games? I'm sure they did something.
No, they did. It was white edging.
It was white.
Tomb
Okay.
Raider, yeah.
It's still a different color.
I mean, it's super interesting because like it's something. I know I've seen like game developers talking about this before, like when they're trying to talk to someone about like someone who doesn't play games, and they're like, "Oh, what's game design? Like, do you choose where the monsters go?" And it's like, right, you've got to build. You're in a corridor. There's a load of doors. How do you tell the player that they're not supposed to go in these 10 doors and they're supposed to go in this one at the end? Right? How do you get that across to the player without them checking each one, or that, like, just, it's such an intrinsic problem with games, and I think it's fascinating. And,
yeah, it is fascinating. I think, but it's so hard at this point. For someone like us, who are so into game design and learning about it and what games developers do and what they don't do and what they try and avoid, and to come up with a new trick at this point is so difficult because it's so tough.
There was was it the God of War 3 like documentary that came with it? And there's like this whole meeting where so it was like, I think it was like in the very early stages of the game, and there's like little tutorial, there's like these little plinths with a book on it.
Yeah.
And they were like, and I think like the pages were sort of flapping in the
Oh,
wind.
that's right. Yeah.
And some people are going like, I thought this was supposed to be glowing. It's supposed to be glowing now. People keep missing it if it doesn't glow. Why isn't it glowing? And they're like, oh, but now the pages move. Like, no, it doesn't matter if the pages move. It needs to glow. And you're like, why are you getting so upset? And it's like, oh, because this is actually really hard, and it's really important to get it right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a defined language. People will kick off about it, but this is just, this is the way of the years that we've learned to progress through games, and if that's yellow paint, it's yellow paint. I mean, it doesn't offend me, but
All right.
The Ton Dog it says, hello lads, quick browse of my city's last remaining independent game shop showed me that there's still a decent market for old Game Boys and cartridges. A few of them had even been modded with backlights and IPS screens. Couldn't believe how amazing the old Game Boy form factor looked with a modern screen. It got me thinking about the modern retro handhelds that Sean and James picked up a while back. How have you guys been using them recently, if at all? And are there any recommendations you'd give for someone looking to pull the trigger on these pocket-sized wonders? Keep up the amazing work, as always.
A little bit sick of the TikTok.
Yeah, that's gone wild, hasn't it?
Over Chris.
sorry, the what?
TikTok shop. So you get like I'd say 1 in every 4 TikTok videos when you swipe is someone just trying to sell something on TikTok shop. And over Christmas there was a lot of this retro Game Boy machine has got 4,000 games on it, and it was they always say, oh, this is going viral, this is the viral console that is is it always viral, is it viral? The shoes have you seen those fucking god awful trainers that there's?
No.
Oh, have you not? I'll have to send you one.
I don't really use TikTok still.
I do not. There's viral trainers now. £9.
What do they look like?
Oh, really good,
in what way are they viral?
I don't know. They say that because I think, honestly, there needs to be regulation on TikTok Shop. Because there needs to be regulation on it because it is outrageous how they're selling.
Yeah, I've just ordered a pair.
Excellent, nice. Anyway,
not that I'm into fads or anything, but I've just ordered 10 pairs.
I still play my Mii Mini all the time.
I was going to say, yeah, so I got the Mii Mini Plus for Christmas, and I absolutely adore it. It's a weird one because it's not like the highest spec. But
exactly.
Like, the screen is nice, and the way they operate. Have you got Onion OS on yours?
Yes.
Dave?
Yeah.
So good.
It really is.
Like the fact that you'll play a game and then you'll be like, right, home button, and then it's like saves the state for you for that game, and then you can browse like your most recently played games, and you skip through them, and it's like, and you look at them, it's like, here's like the screenshot of where you were when you were last playing it. All that shit. It's just so good.
Yeah.
And it's like what, 50 quid?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
We sound like we're on TikTok Shop now.
We do. A bit, yeah.
But Puzzle Bobble on SNES, I play it on that little console all the time. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Whereas the Ambernick, the widescreen one that I gave to James, that you kind of because it was so much harder to get in and out of games, and it was all about the OS that made the difference. And yeah, you're right. The Mii Mini with Onion OS is so good.
Because the first one I got was the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus,
right?
Which again is better spec than the Mii Mini, but I don't use it anymore because the OS is just a bit of a pain in comparison. So yeah, it's amazing the difference that makes. I mean, I'm very lucky. I've also got an analog pocket. Didn't pay full price for it. And because that, I think, is it 200, 250, something like that. So,
So
that's
the analog pocket? It's more that you buy the cartridges and it plays all cartridges or something.
yeah. So the thing with the analog pocket, and it probably sounds like overkill because it kind of is. It's got an FPGA CPU in it, which basically means you put a Game Boy in it, the CPU goes, right, I'm going to become a Game Boy now. Right,
Okay.
the CPU like reconfigures itself basically to become other. So it's hardware emulation rather than software. Most people, it's not important, but that's the distinction. That's why it costs what it does. The screen on it is absolutely gorgeous. So you can now install like cores on it, so you can just put games on a micro SD card. But again, it's a bit clunky at doing that. Like I still like if I'm going to use the analog pocket, it's because I've got a physical cartridge or something. Like so that was when I played Metroid Zero Mission. Like that was just because I had it on the analog pocket, and it was just really nice way to play it because I had the cartridge. Sorry, James, go on.
So yeah, what formats does it support? What is it?
I think it goes up to like SNES and Mega Drive basically, and like some arcade stuff as well, and sort of anything below that really. But obviously, physically, you can put GBA cartridges, you can put Game Boy cartridge, Game Boy Color. There's like adapters for other. I think there's like a Game Gear one, and a couple of others.
I was gonna say, like, could you put a Mega Drive cartridge in the back of it with an adapter? Or it feels like it might be a bit top heavy,
as far as I'm aware, yeah, should be fine.
Could
Like
you do
in
the one?
32X?
Yeah, 30, I was thinking more like was it the Micro Machines one, which had like the extra four fingers
Yeah.
at the top.
Yeah. I have
Controller
no
ports.
idea actually.
That
I
only
don't
had
see
two
why it wouldn't
ports
work.
at the top, didn't it?
Oh, was it just
Yeah.
two? Okay.
Yeah,
So I
because
actually-
Struggling to keep it up.
So a guy,
As it
calling him a
were.
calling him a mate is probably a bit strong. His name's Christian Majewski. He was on Midnight Resistance years ago, and he used to do a Monster Hunter podcast, and he now does like Pico 8 development. He has a really cool YouTube channel, Lazy Devs Academy, where he talks about that stuff. Anyway, he tweeted saying like, "Oh, has anyone got an analog pocket? I need to test something." So I didn't realize the original Game Boy doesn't run at 60 hertz. It runs at like 59.9 something like massive, right? So if you're a speedrunner, basically you wanted to know if the analog pocket was like viable for speedrunning, because most emulators will emulate at 60 hertz.
Oh,
So if you're watching one scene from a game, so like if an enemy's moving around, if you record that for like an hour, it will start to drift out of like the wrong, like it's in the wrong time.
Oh.
So he's like, I'm trying to find out if like, and anyway, the analog pocket does actually emulate at the correct 59 point whatever.
Oh, wow.
Fucking nuts. If you give a shit about that stuff, it's really impressive, but it's kind of unnecessary for most people.
I'm just looking
There
at
you go.
that fucking Micro Machines cart now. That was wild. When we were kids, it was like, what? You could just stick that in the thing and it works. What the fuck?
Science has
Yeah.
gone too far. It's just,
Science really
Yeah,
did
they
go
put
too far.
ports in the cartridge. What?
Yeah, I think I had the Micro Machines 96 one.
Mhm.
That was oh man, I'm really going through this nostalgia trip with gaming at the moment. Well, pretty much everything. I mentioned it last week, but just looking at these cartridges.
Yeah,
it's
Micro
just
Machines
like,
96.
holy
That's the
shit.
last I fucking love that. God.
I do
Yeah,
miss
that's good.
the physical element of it now. I think for
Yeah,
years
big
I was like,
time.
well, we've got emulation now. I know it's not quite the same, but it doesn't matter. Whereas now I'm like, nah, it'd be really nice to have.
Yeah, when you see
Original
those
stuff.
the Game Boy carts,
Yeah,
and
man.
you just think, oh man, I remember the feeling of popping one in
Mhm.
into your console. Like, love that shit.
Yeah.
Love it.
And just very quickly, I suppose the other bit of advice: if you're going to get one of these handhelds, don't just find a ROM dump of every game ever made and put that on it, because you will just flit around. You play everything for 5 seconds and then
Yeah.
not bother and move on. Like curate it a bit if you can. Though I think there are like curated like ROM sets as well on websites that I would never go on, obviously. But yeah. Next question.
Yeah, no.
comes
So
from-
I
sorry.
googled Micro Machines and I saw some cartridges, and yes, I know this is technically true, but like when I just saw a picture of Micro Machines Turbo Tournament '96, and the description is vintage '90s Sega Mega Drive racer. I mean, I get it. It is,
Mate, I was on fucking Temu.
it is 30 plus years old, but
Temu, yeah.
vintage.
And it was- and it was
fucking
like-
kill me now.
It was showing me like Radiohead merch, and it's like vintage rock band. I was like, oh, fucking. I mean,
Do you
I
feel like
know,
getting
I
old?
know, I'm old, obviously.
Yeah, vintage.
but
I mean, yeah, I
Christ
get it. I know it is, but
Yeah. Right, next question comes from. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
Alright.
He says David says he doesn't like the names they give to planets in Star Wars. They seem like perfectly good names to me. If he had to name a planet for a sci-fi movie, what would he call it?
Plicong.
Okay. Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS, coasting down the slopes. When I dug up, that's a bit harsh.
Ah, a bit too soon, Maria.
Yeah, it's a bit...
Too bloody soon. Not sure you've seen this arm.
No.
Some two pieces.
Um,
I'll tell you one thing I was amazed about. Like,
Oh, yeah.
during the procedure, he had to like literally like I had the injection. He had to like squeeze my arm and basically twist the bones back into place, right? You know, which is and it's kind of mad that my bones are going to fuse together. I've never thought about that before, but he's like,
It is strange, isn't
I've
it?
got to like take your broken bones and squeeze them, twist them, and it wrecked. Even though I had local anesthetic, it wrecked. And to the point where I was like, hang on, you've injected me with local anesthetic. Why is it still hurting? He's like, it's gonna hurt, mate. It's not a general. I was like,
Can only do
yeah, I
so
guess so.
much.
I just thought with an anesthetic, like, what if you haven't done it right? Because I can still feel a lot of pain. He's like, you're gonna hate me for about 10 minutes, but this is just how it happened.
But yeah, the idea of bones knitting together for some
Yeah.
reason, like soft tissue, I
Mad.
can understand that healing, but like solid bone,
Yeah.
somehow just
Like,
merging.
he took
together
my
again.
broken bones and he did like a pre-X-ray, snapped them together, or did with it, and then like now they're straight. And he's like, they're gonna fuse together. It's mental. Hopefully they do. Maybe they don't.
It's a human body, isn't it? It's a wild thing.
It
is.
fascinating.
Wait, wait.
So Maria says,
It's,
when I
it's
dug out my
also
copy,
it's so strange when you think about the human body and the amazing things it does, but also you poop out your lunch.
Yeah.
You do.
What's that about?
But that is also fascinating, Dave. If you didn't, you would die.
Okay.
So think about that.
Yeah, imagine how bad you feel if you didn't poop out your lunch.
Yeah.
Poop-
Sit on the
poop
toilet
away.
and just think, I'm saving my own life.
Yep. Just
right
poop
now.
away.
Poop-
But why does it come out perfectly formed in the wrappers?
Well,
Okay, let's just move on, shall we? Let's move on.
Maria, who's probably very frustrated by this point, says,
Sorry, Maria, but if you say coasting down the slopes, you're gonna have to get something back.
"That's true.
I'm sorry.
It's kind of her fault."
Yeah.
When I dug out my copy of Dark Spire on the Nintendo DS, I did not imagine spending my entire weekend playing it. Trundling through dungeons using a sparse UI was so engrossing, but I was perplexed to learn that the map required you to use a spell to see your location if you got lost. How would you personally define a perfect in-game map?
One that doesn't stick to just showing north. Like the one that rotates with you. I like that fucking Judgment game,
Mm-hmm.
which James lied about. Yeah, I also 2D. Let's get rid of the 3D elements on a map. It's not
Yeah,
required.
not needed.
Not
Complicated.
needed. It's just trying to make it look better. Doesn't.
When I think of the perfect map, I just think of the Resident Evil 2 remake. You know, it's simple. It tells you what rooms you've been in. It gives you a different colour if there's something in the room you haven't picked up. That's all you need. It doesn't complicate it, but it really helped to change how that game played, the remake compared to the original one. It's perfect. That's a perfect map for me. It's simple, uncomplicated, tells you what you need to know at a glance with colours, done.
I think like the 2D 3D issue, like how is it that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom appear to be the only game map that uses contour lines?
Yeah,
'Cause-
the Breath of the Wild is a fantastic
Yeah.
example of how to do a fucking good map.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you know exactly where you're heading. You know the height. Yeah, the contours
Mhm.
tells you how high things are. It's
Because I don't think you need to like learn how to read contour lines, right?
No.
They're pretty sure they're pretty self-explanatory.
yeah.
Done all right for Ordnance Survey, for,
Totally.
for all this time.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, they're loving that. I just when I look at the map of fucking when I played that Metroid Prime remaster or whatever, I'm like, come on,
Mhm.
it's just so annoying. Like, just keep it simple, baby.
Yeah, mate. Is it like what's more fun in terms of like a map where you have to mark things yourself and work things out versus something that just shows you everything? I'm trying to think of like fun examples where I've
I
had
like
to
a bit of
work
both.
stuff out. Sorry,
Yeah.
go on, James.
I like a bit of both with that.
Yeah.
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 It's like, main objective. I'm happy with that being on there, but then I like to put a bunch of crosses down.
I thought Prince of Persia, we didn't really talk about it, but I thought the way Prince of Persia dealt with stuff, where you could take like a screenshot
Yeah,
and it
screenshot
appears on the
stuff.
map in that
Do you
place,
know-
was pretty cool.
That's a great addition. I think.
Yeah.
I never used that throughout the whole
No.
time I played it. No.
Why not?
It sounds like a great idea, but I just never used it.
It was super useful. Why didn't you use it?
Don't know. I just remember where stuff was. I don't know.
How
Got a
corny.
big brain, Dave just remembers things.
Yeah.
I think that's like a feature that going forward, if any more Metroidvanias come out without it, it'll be like, well, why?
Yeah, why?
Just put it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, just let me
Just
do
put it
that.
in.
Yeah, I'm not disputing it's a good idea. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
clearly a good idea. It's just I didn't use it.
But that's
Yeah,
such
yeah,
a
but
brilliant
you
idea.
didn't use it because you forgot it was there. That's why.
There is partly that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That's,
But that's such a brilliant idea because that's not that complicated. It's in fact it's so simple. Like I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm always taking pictures in like games with my phone, and I'm like, okay, where exactly was that and stuff. But like the fact that they just combine the two to make sure you don't miss, or you know exactly what screenshot was taken. It's so simple and yet so brilliant.
It was a shame that it was limited though. That fucking annoyed me.
Yeah, as if you're gonna fill the hard drive with.
Yeah, just don't. Just
1080p
let me do that.
screenshot.
Who gives a shit?
I had to actually during Zelda, I had to finally start deleting screenshots on my Switch because I hit the cap of screenshots.
Oh, I have to do that
It's so
all
annoying.
the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
kids
I'm
just
like,
take
how do you
photos
go through-
constantly.
The kids are constantly taking photos.
Yeah.
Why is there a
Yeah.
limit of screenshots? I've got loads of storage space. It sucks. Like, I'm like, okay, I always take tons of screenshots and loads of things, whether I'm going to post them again on social or just have them as background. But like, I was like, okay, delete. I've got so many to go through. I don't want to do that.
I'm
Just give me
so glad.
unlimited
I'm
space.
so glad they limit it because honestly, there'll be the amounts of screenshots I've got of the Mario Kart loading screen
Yeah.
is unreal. Yeah, I can't stand it.
It's yeah, because Isaac used to do that quite a lot, and it's one of those things where it's like, I want to tell him to stop doing it without being a dick, but also it is basically harmless. But also, say there will come that day where I'm like, right, I have to delete all these now because I'm fucking reaching the limit. You're just like, Isaac, you're creating a problem for me in like 6 months. Can you just not?
Yeah, I had to talk to Harry because I showed him the effects that you could do on iMessage.
Oh yeah.
You know, you could do different effects when you send stuff. So
Oh, yeah,
now
yeah.
he only sends messages in invisible ink.
That slam.
And, like, that's all he does now, and it's just, look, mate, just don't like once a year is funny.
Wait, so hang on, as a non-Apple user, what invisible ink? How does it work?
So it
Like,
comes up and it's like sparkly, and then you've got to rub it to see what the
Oh,
message
I
says.
see.
And usually it's
And
like
that's-
lol.
I
Yeah.
do feel like that would sort of get funnier over time, though.
Yeah, and then
And
it
then
dips
it changes.
dramatically. Yeah.
It's like a
No,
roller
I-
coaster.
Stuart Lee
I'm
approach.
gonna have
It's
to
classic.
start doing
It's-
this now.
I mean, okay. It fucking does my nut in.
Did any of you, sorry, it's a proper tangent now. That new company that was like, yeah, we found a way to get like iMessage on Android devices, but it was
No?
literally like they're using an
Yeah.
Apple device
Different.
somewhere else.
They're
to, like,
using
follow
servers,
you.
aren't they?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
you connect them to an Apple's device in the server
That
to
sounds
come back.
safe.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
Apple did something about it, and I'm sure he turned it off.
They did,
or-
yeah, I
yeah.
assume they might shut it down immediately.
But iMessage is going to use a new protocol next year to enable it to be cross-platform and all sorts of stuff.
James
Okay.
Farley has sent a message with invisible ink. It's just come
Okay.
up on my phone.
I'm going to be doing that all the time now.
Does it say
It's
can I
what
go-
texting during the show? We know.
Yeah.
Right,
Nothing
go on.
changes.
Last question from Thomas Wadsworth. It says, my question for the gang, if trapped on a desert island together, what's your tactic for your backlog of games? Do you exhaust the multiplayer games together first? Do you go from oldest to newest? Or do you force Dave to beat all of Yakuza until he eventually resorts to cannibalism? Sorry, James, you might be first. Lots of love. My favourite podcast I look forward to every week.
You'd have to space it out because
Yeah.
if we're
You gotta
playing
mix it up,
multiplayer
man.
games, you're gonna that's gonna create all sorts of social problems, isn't it?
Yeah, like
Yeah, we'll
you
have a
couldn't-
schedule.
And you couldn't just play all the Yakuza games back to back. You'd want to...
James
No.
did.
No,
Sort
you,
it out.
you can't do that. It's horrible. It's not a good experience.
James, you
It's
played
still
all of them
so-
in the space of 3 years, and there's 400 of them.
It's still so strange, like, because I played Yakuza 0, and everyone was like, don't just go on to the next one. Like, have a break. You'll be fine. Where I was like, no, I miss it. Like, I miss being in that world. Like, I do just want to just carry on.
5
Did
minutes.
maybe 3 hours of
Yeah.
Yakuza Kiwami, and I was like, no, I'm all right now.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, I'd like. Do you know what? If we're stuck on a desert island, let's really go hardcore with it and just play Mario Party.
I think
That's
you're say
it.
something else then.
We've just got Mario Party. That's
Yeah.
it.
Well,
game
one
we're allowed.
game.
No,
Can't we have Mash
all the
fully
Mario
loaded?
Party games.
You know, can't we get the
Let's
micro
all bring one
machines,
game.
You know, with the Mega Drive and the four.
mic-
Yeah.
We're gonna play Bishy Bashy. Oh, no, it's
No,
only three
Mash.
players.
Mash
Yes,
fully
you're
loaded.
even talking like an old man now, James. Can't we get the micro machines with the Mega Drive and the?
What
yeah,
Mash
no,
back?
okay, it's done. Right,
What's
are we
Mash
done?
that good? I never.
Yeah,
Had a...
the mashed,
Mash
specifically the ice oval, hundreds of hours literally on that one track alone. Oh, so good. Mash reloaded, bring it back. Sorry,
I
where
think
were
you're the only one calling for that. I'll be honest.
No, there'll be literally tens of people doing the same thing.
You only need 4 for a full game.
Good
so it's
point.
fine. That's it for questions.
Then Matt, let's get to the socials.
Yeah, on Thursday, Sean is looking for a load of old issues of Commodore format.
Correct. I was looking through the cupboard under the stairs, and yeah, there's a bit. I've got a big box of old issues of Commodore format. So I thought
Most
you know
people have
what?
like vacuums and mops under there, but Sean
Yeah,
has
no.
just a massive box of old magazines.
I mean, I've got the mops and vacuums as well.
Oh,
Just,
okay,
you know,
they've
a
got
bunch
them,
of other shit that I should probably have like thrown out by now. Yeah, so I thought I'd just get some of them out and just have a look through them,
That's a great idea.
see if there's any objectionable content.
There
You
will
know,
be.
That sort
Yeah,
of thing.
Can I give you a tip?
Don't
with
get us
these?
banned.
If there's like a like readers selling stuff page, have a look at that, or personals, whatever, because that bit is usually hilarious. It's
I can imagine.
I went for a phase last week of just reading loads of old Argos catalogs.
Oh man, that's good. I
I
still
used to
think we should
obsess
do
with
that
that.
as a Christmas stream one year.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that because it was I mean Mighty Max and all that sort of shit. I was like, holy crap, there's so much in this thing that I love. But then it
Memories.
was also funny looking at the tech as well,
Yeah.
like and watching that evolve. Yeah, it's great. It's
Well,
great,
we did a stream once where I found, because I've got loads of old magazines and stuff in like that cupboard right there, and I'm sure on one stream I picked out this like massive like section of old pamphlets I've kept, and I'm sure I'll start going through that. Like that I just still love looking for that now. So
Yeah, your
loads of
streams used to
potential.
just like take wild tangents, didn't it? I remember one where you were playing a game, but then you just stopped and just showed what your new gaming chair could do.
yeah, they used to go in all sorts of directions, those streams.
They did.
Maybe it'll come back, baby.
Yes.
Anyway, that's Thursday night. On Friday night, James is definitely 100% playing Dark Souls 3 at some point after 9.
Unless you
Yeah,
remember that he's going on holiday.
no.
Yeah.
So I've got family
Can't be
coming
arsed.
to visit that are coming on Friday, but I
Right.
will still be doing this. It just may be at like 10 rather than 9 or something.
How are you going to
Depends when I
explain
get
that
back.
to the people staying around? Oh, they're not actually
No,
staying.
they're
at your
not. They're
place?
not. I've got to go and pick them up from the airport, and then I've got to do all
We
that
don't
stuff.
Dump them in a field.
Yeah.
Okay, so James may be streaming something on Friday night, and they're both on twitch.tv/TCGS. Go search for TCGS in the app or the website, and you'll find our page, and you can follow us to make sure you get notified when we go live on Thursday and Friday. If you've got Amazon Prime and you've got a Twitch account, connect your accounts, and you have something called Twitch Prime Gaming. And with that, you get one free sub every month. You have to give to another channel. Why not go over to our channel and give us your free sub? You can't keep it yourself. It expires, so why don't you go to our channel? And we appreciate it if you have done that already tonight, or maybe you're going to do that during James's or Sean's streams. We're on patreon.com/TCGS. Sorry, I just almost choked. Patreon.com/TCGS.
Pain medication's
Yeah,
kicking in.
That's probably
Swallowing
another
his own tongue.
thing for exclusive monthly podcast. The bonus show will probably be quite interesting this month, I reckon. The Patreon like talks over or video show, we haven't quite decided what we're gonna do, but it's gonna be good, I know that much. They're both at patreon.com/TCGS, and the website is tcgs.co for links to our amazing Discord community, store,
Oh, Matt.
socials. I've lost it.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Thank you so much.
on the Discord, if you're thinking about picking up Helldivers but you've got no mates, we've got a Helldivers 2 looking for group channel in there.
We have, yeah.
Give that a look.
Thank you so much for living it. We will catch you next week with some Xbox news. Until
Or not.
then,
Or not. Maybe
Or
nothing will
not,
happen.
yeah, might be
Yeah.
a total non-event.
Yeah.
Who knows?
take it easy. We love you. Good boy.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.